Fresh, fresh, freshy, flex. Fresh, fresh, freshy, flex. Fresh, fresh, helmet, neck. With cafe breath.
You cannot. Okay.
Holy Spirit,
They better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey.
Activate. Let's go. Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh no.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Okay.
Activate.
Hey, hey,
Let's go.
they say I ain't saved cause I cuss a little bit. But you're the only judge that I need and that's it. They always in my business cause they say I backslid. They read the Holy Bible but they ain't applying it. So Holy Spirit activate. If you do it right now, that would be great. I ain't trying to smack this chick in the face. Don't you see me down here trying to change my ways. So
Holy Spirit,
you
activate.
better do it, Lord.
Holy Spirit, activate.
You better get them, Lord.
Holy Spirit,
Before I get them, Lord.
activate.
Hey, hey, hey.
You cannot.
Hold on.
Can y'all hear me? I don't know what's going on, but I'll work on that later. Can y'all hear me? All that matters is you should hear me now because I'm over it. I'm over it. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me? 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 Loud and clear. Loud and clear. Y'all can hear me? Y'all saying yes? Yes. Okay. Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. And okay. So there is a gorilla in the mist, Lord. There is a gorilla in a cock-eyed mist that has my name in his mouth. I was like, oh my gosh, you're fat and you're mad. You're fat and upset. So yeah, here Flip. I said not the person that was just in front of me yesterday. Mr. Nice Guy? Are you guys talking about him? That guy? Not the one that was just all up in my face. Couldn't have been more up in my face yesterday. To say whatever he felt like, right? Shape how he was shaped. Like all of that. That happened, right? I'm like, oh, you a punk. Oh, you a punk. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's all that is. Ooh, scary. I'm just like, oh, fat guy speaks. Oh, fat guy in a little cup. I'm like, so you over there in a I eat kids. let's eat children shirt. You're an ogre. You're coming for me? Me? The guy you could have just said all that to his face? Like, that's mad weird. Mad weird. Who's the punk here? Your name's Dana. Like, you're clearly, like, your name's gay. Like, alone. You have a gay name. Like, let's just start there. Queer. So I'm just like, yeah, you could have said all of this to the LGBTQ barbecue when you were over here, buddy. Yeah, when you stopped frying them fries, when you took the basket out and put it on the hook, frying them fries, and you hit that good intercom button on that drive-through or headset, When you went like that to that headset, and then you hit that good link, and you came on here, you could have said all that. You could have said all that, buddy. You're not scary from a distance. It can be scary up close. You're not scary at all right? So you can sit over there shaped how you are shaped awfully, by the way. Awfully. I'm like, so a person that eats kids is coming for me. Like you're literally prone it. You eat kids, you look like it. Sitting over there slumped in that chair like a handicap. I'm like, is he in a wheelchair? Or is that like a... Just like, because I mean, you're like slumped, like a seal, like putting a seal in a chair. I'm like, look, you're ugly. Let's start off with this. You're ugly. Like, let's start off with that. You're ugly. Like, before we go any further, before we get into anything else, you are ugly. There's so much. Uggs. We're not gonna make a nigga like you cute. No. We're not gonna make a nigga like you cute. So with the threats, I'm not worried about it because I can make you not do this anymore. I can make you not do that anymore. What are you talking about? Like whenever you get through, you tried it. I'm like, it always be the ugly niggas that be coming for me. Like, where's all the cute dudes that don't like me? Can one of y'all come for me? Because I'm over the ugly dudes. Like bottom of the barrel niggas. Son, dead ass. Like, I'm like, category bad. Yeah, I'm not worried about you, bro. Like, at all whatsoever. Like, you're ugly. Like, you're going through enough in life. Maybe possible indictments, you know, all type of stuff. Like, you're ugly. You literally have to walk around like that. You eat kids. Like, you eat churn. Oh, my goodness. Ooh, scary. I'm like, ooh, not you. You're saying you can't dox me. I've been doxed by somebody with over 20,000 subscribers or followers on IG, 1 million subscribers on YouTube. You're going to have to come better than that, buddy. All my teas out there because there is none. But I hear there's some on you. I hear there's some on you. And it's nothing new. There's plenty of people over there. Just like, nobody likes you. You're ugly. So it's like nobody likes you. Nobody deals with you. It's a lot of people over there coming for you and how you're shaped. And I agree with everything they're saying, but they leave some stuff out. Here, flip. I'll bring it in. I'll put it in. It's not a problem. So you played my station here yesterday, and that's where we will be to talk about you. That's where we talk about recyclables, since you know me so well. Yeah, this is just the beginning. This is light. This is light. Since you like to tune into my station head, fat boy. Yeah. Since you like to tune into my station head, sloth chair. Okay. Tune in tonight. Oh, yeah. Tune in tonight. Tune in tonight. How about that, buddy? Tune in tonight. Tune in tonight. How about that? How about that? You're scary. You're a punk. Like, you're a whole punk. Like, you went back to your plot. You could have said all that to my face, homie. You're so scary. Okay, you over here talking ish. You do that on a day-to-day basis. That's why nobody likes you. I'm like, no one likes you. It's public. You're publicly known to be not liked. You're a liar. You absolutely are. You're shaped like an oversized recliner. You're shaped like that. Like, that's what you're giving. You're giving gross. Literally. I'm like, no, this puddle of mud is not sitting here coming from me. Like, are you kidding me? I need you to look at the camera coming from me, buddy. Sitting over there saying anything you say. Use one of them eyes. Get it together and look at yourself. Like, do you see you? Depression is what you're giving. Nobody wants to be is what you're giving. Yet no one's scared of you. You could come tell me drop my link right now and I will. And once again, you will cower like the punk you are. Like, you're not tough. Like, it's scared of what? Scared of who? Scared of what? Scared of when? Like, what? This guy. This guy. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm going to show you how to roast. I'm going to show you how to gag. I'm going to show you how to kiki. I absolutely am. I'm going to put a picture of you in that shirt all of that. So everybody, we're going in. So tune in to Station Head tonight, since I see that you're already a fan. Full free promotion. Ugh. I know you work for free, but I don't. Ugh. Moving right along. So let's get to the real subject at hand, the things that, I don't know, matter. So yeah, let's get into that. So R. Kelly, oh my goodness, R. Kelly. So let me get something to drink before I do all this reading, because it's a lot of reading. So Vulture, shout out to Vulture. They have a lot of good information about what's going on in R. Kelly's Chicago federal trial. Okay. Now, there's a lot of information because there's a lot that's going down with this trial and whatnot, this new one. But I want to start off by saying, because I was really confused, because I'm like, well, how are they taking him back to court for something that he had already been to court for? Like, you know, they can't try him again, right? So I was confused. So that's what really made me go look into it, because I was wondering, no sound. There's no sound right now. Hold on. Let me this. No, my side. It's working. It's working. It's working. It's working. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. My sound good. So back to the articles. So maybe you're at the beginning of the video. So there's, like I said, there's layers to what is going on. Now, they're not the Vulture, it's not the end all be all, it's not like they know every single thing. But they do have a lot of information that they've gathered, and from what I've seen, because anytime I read some information, I always go search it elsewhere to see if it's true, or if they say that a source to where they got it from, I go look at that source, you know, as well. So when this information was being sent to me, oh my God, the people at the beginning of this video, you guys are annoying. That's old. Stop saying you can't hear. Anyways, moving on, because they still are like at the beginning of the video. It's annoying. So let's get into the article, and I will give my thoughts as we go through, because the title of the video is, you know, should Reshona Landfair and her mother, because her mother is going to testify as well. So the question is should they go to jail as well? You know, and it's not because they're testifying. That's not the reason. I'll state why I think that after we read all of this information, because there's a decent amount of information that we are going to get into. So, like I said, I do have a strong fight behind why I question rather she should go to jail or not. Because I know y'all thinking like, okay, well, Sean, you've been defending her basically, and you know, looking out for her and whatnot, and I still am. But everybody needs to be held accountable, and I'll tell you why I feel like maybe Reshona and her mother, Valerie, should go to jail as well. I'll tell you why. So let's get into this article from Vulture, okay, about R. Kelly's new upcoming trial in Chicago. Not the old one, the new one. R. Kelly will go on trial in Chicago, okay, federal court on August 15, 2022. His second federal trial, because you know he had one before with Reshona and whatnot in 2008. Okay. Federal trial in less than 1 year. The 55-year-old, I believe I Can Fly singer, faces CP and obstruction of justice charges in relation to 5 alleged victims. Federal prosecutors in this case said that Kelly had encounters with these accusers when they were under the age of 18 years old, okay, and recorded these incidents on video. So with obstruction of justice and whatnot, so that's where the double jeopardy, to me, my question was answered, because it's not about the first trial in particular when it comes to the tape. So it has nothing to do with that tape. It has everything to do with the witness tampering and obstructing justice, you know, when it comes to the case, by paying certain people certain things to not do certain things, you know, and whatnot. So these are completely different charges. It's related to the situation, but it's more so of obstructing the case, like what he did, him and his team, what they did to certain witnesses and They did a lot of tampering and a lot of illegal things, is what they were doing. So, with that being said, this is why he's being brought up on these charges. And not only that, the other tapes, four, four other tapes, is what he is being charged with as well. And remember, there was only one tape in question in the first case. There was only one, just that one tape with, you know, the scene between them two, just that one. So there was no other tape out of him with her. Yeah, okay. So there was no tape. Now, with one of these tapes, I believe Reshona is on one of these new tapes as well. So, and I'm sure they're gonna use her to identify herself this time around because she didn't testify the first time. So, with these other tapes, I believe Reshona may be in one of them, the one that Lisa was talking about. I think that may be one of the tapes in question. So nothing from the first tape is what he's being charged for. Just the case with itself is what he's being charged for. Obstructing justice and doing all types of stuff is what he did. Okay. So these are the new charges. So he's not, again, being charged for what he was charged for in 2008. These are two separate charges. Okay. I wanted to clear that up. So just in case people get confused, like before the people say like he was already tried for this. Yeah, but yes and no. Yes and no. Okay. So recorded the incidents on video. These alleged X crimes took place in the late 1990s and early 2000s. When the charges came down against Kelly, prosecutors said the indictment demonstrates our office's commitment to holding individuals such as Kelly accountable for criminal SA of minors, protecting the victims of such crimes, and punishing those who obstruct law enforcement investigations. Earlier this summer, on June 29th, 2022, the disgraced performer was hit with a 30-year prison sentence in his Brooklyn federal court racketeering and SC case up there in New York. Okay, so let's keep going. While there are definitely some similarities between Kelly's Chicago case and the proceedings in Brooklyn, they are about SA of minors. There are some dramatic differences as well. Two of Kelly's alleged co-conspirators, Daryl McDavid and Milton June Brown, will face trial alongside Kelly in his Chicago trial. So R. Kelly is not the only one on trial within this moment. Okay, at this point, he will be on trial with these two men as well, which was Daryl McDavid and Milton June Brown. So with that being said, it's all three of their stories against one another, you know, at this point, because all of them were co-conspirating together. So all of them had responsibilities, whether it was extortion or blackmail, whatever it was, whatever they were doing, paying people off to not report crimes, and whatever they were doing, they have to, because they were all doing it in the same, because these men worked for R. Kelly. So these are the enablers. Some of them, it's a lot more, but some of the enablers are now being charged. They're on trial as well as R. Kelly. So this is different. You know, this is completely different from the first time around. When R. Kelly was on trial in 2008, he was alone. This time, two other people are being held accountable as well. So it's pretty much at this point with these three men, I'm sure all of them done snitched on each other already, you know, at this point. So, because I feel like these two men definitely will go against R. Kelly because they have more to lose. R. Kelly already in jail. He already got all these years on his head, you know, and whatnot. It's better we protect ourselves now because we were doing it all for him anyway. So I think they're definitely going to roll a dime on R. Kelly. I think that they're going to throw him under the bus. I think both of them will, because it's like he already in jail. I mean, he already got all this time. Why not? You know, just say, yeah, he told us to do it. I feel like they're going to roll right over on him. I do. I feel like they're going to throw him all the way up under the bus and reverse it and run him over again and then reverse it and run him over again. I think they're going to throw him right under the bus immediately, the both of them, because they don't want to face, that's a lot of time to be facing for these charges. These are some serious charges. So, yeah, I think that they both will roll over on Robert. I do. I think that they're going to leave him out there to dry. They're like, yeah, this is on you. I feel like they've already made deals with certain people. I do. I feel like they've already made deals, and all of that stuff. This case is nothing new. It was something that was always going to happen. So yeah, I think that they made deals and all that. Deals and all that. So let's get back to where we were in the reading. So they're accused of trying to clean up Kelly's alleged misdeeds. They helped him thwart his 2008 CP trial in Chicago, which ended up in his acquittal. This alleged cover-up attempts included coordinating payments to accusers and a potential whistleblower. McDavid and Brown have pleaded not guilty. So you don't think they're rolling over on him? I'm sure deals have already been made. So they definitely rolled over on him. So yeah, they about to smack him with all. He about to have that 196 years before it's all said and done. With how these people throw him under this bus. This alleged cover-up attempts including coordinating payments to accusers and a potential whistleblower. McDavid and Brown have pleaded not guilty. Kelly has stuck by his not guilty plea. Despite his conviction and 3-decade prison sentence from his Brooklyn case. Here's what you need to know about R. Kelly's Chicago federal trial. What is R. Kelly accused of exactly? A lot. Dang. A lot. In his Chicago case. Kelly is accused of produced and received CP as well as lured minors into engaging in SA, activity. Charging documents accuse Kelly of having encounters with 5 minors and recording some of his alleged abuse on multiple videos. Okay, so it says 5 encounters with 5 minors, and it's listed in the court documents: minor 1, minor 2, minor 3, minor 4, and minor 5, I believe. So there are 5 different people that are underage documented on these videos. Okay, the new ones, the ones that nobody has, overall, most of all, nobody has seen. Okay, so this is insane. This is crazy because they popping him with everything. He about to go down, like all the way down. There is no saving him pretty much at this point. Like it's a wrap. Like it is a wrap for him. So, in addition, Kelly is accused of plotting to intimidate victims and hide evidence to obstruct law enforcement. This includes his alleged efforts to derail his 2008 state CP trial in Chicago. Right? So they're stating that a lot of these charges are from him tampering with the case, intimidating victims, coercing them to change their story or not to speak at all. It's about to get deep. It's about to get deep. And why I say it's going to get deep, because a lot of these people are witnesses. A lot of people that should have testified the first time that did not are testifying now, including Reshona and her mother. Yes, like including them. And they even went as far, because that the prosecution had something to do with Greg Landfair, RIP. One of the last things he did, basically, not like literal last things he did, but was write a sworn statement and testimony against Robert. That is being submitted as well, from what I saw. So yeah, it's pretty deep. Like they are making sure all of these things stick. They make sure you ain't ever gonna steal a lot of that again. Okay. And like I said, they have a lot of witnesses this time, a lot of people that are gonna be up there, okay? They're gonna be up there testifying against him. Oh my goodness. This is gonna be insane. So who are the people on trial with Kelly? When Kelly's federal court indictment was revealed, it also charged 2 of his ex-employees, Darrell McDavid and Milton Brown, who's known as June Brown. McDavid and Brown were both charged with conspiracy to receive CP. McDavid, who used to work for Kelly, also stands accused of conspiracy to obstruct justice. So, what does this mean? According to charging paperwork in 2001, Kelly and McDavid started paying off an acquaintance hundreds of thousands of dollars to scoop up recordings that had gone missing for the purpose of concealing and covering up their existence. Okay, now let's pause right there. So they're being charged with contacting people, or the people that contacted them, or contacting people that had acknowledgement of these recordings, these tapes, because they had gone missing. So they were not getting the tapes because it's illegal and it shouldn't have been happening. They were getting it to cover it up so that no one else would know about them, especially while said trial was going on. I mean, that was a 6-year trial. So to cover R. Kelly, make sure we get all of the copies, of everything, those that gym bag that got stole with all of those tapes in it, they were retrieving it, is what they were doing. Okay. So they were the ones responsible for the payment being exchanged between the people who was giving it back, who the people or person that was giving it back, to R. Kelly and his team. So you're knowingly going to get CP, like what it is, and you're going to get it. It's illegal to touch it, see it, view it, anything. It should, even to have it in your possession, is illegal. So to pay for something illegal, it's against the law. So that's what they're being charged with, is what they're saying. Y'all knowingly went and bought CP. CP is, somebody put it in the chat. Somebody put in the chat what CP is. Put it in the chat. Okay. I try not to say that much. I feel like it's a trigger for a lot of people, like that, those words, So I try to try to edit it and just say CP, because there's a lot of that word inside of this article. That's another reason why I kind of stumble as I read, because I be trying not to say the word, because when you start reading, you just say the word, as you read it. So yes, thank you, Whitney. Shout out to Whitney DTV. Child form, right? Child corn, but with a P. Remove the C and put a P on the word corn. Okay, so that's what CP is. Okay, that is what that is. I try not to say much because I feel like it's like a trigger for a lot of people. So I just try to watch saying that word. That's all. So that's why I say CP instead of, yeah. So okay, what was we? Okay. So, okay, right here. However, the acquaintance allegedly decided later on to have a press conference in 2008 where he disclosed that he collected these videos. Kelly and McDavid, as well as an unspecified others, then gave him about $170,000 to cancel the event. So the man who had the tapes, the man who has the tapes of the other girls, the minors, right? He was going to do a press conference about having the tapes. And that was really bad, for Robert and his team. So they had to stop that by any means necessary, especially having proof. Like having them say, oh, this is about to blow the lid off of everything. And that was the same year of the sentencing, with R. Kelly getting sentenced or acquitted, I should say, was 2008. So he was going to come live on a press conference like, look, I got all of this. I got these tapes. It's R. Kelly. He, I hear with any some churn. It's churn on here. It's churn in this bag. Some churn in here. So R. Kelly and his team, they're like, no, like that cannot happen. So they paid him $170,000 to not come forward with the press conference, and whatnot with. Okay. So here's my problem. Why isn't he being charged too? If he knowingly had it and knew what it was and did not contact the police and give the proper people that footage, why isn't he being charged too? Like, why y'all just charging Brown and what is it, McDavid or whatever? He should be getting charged too because he knew. Like, how could you not know if you're about to do a whole press conference about knowing? Like, why isn't he arrested too? He had it in his possession, and only he knows how long he had it. Besides R. Kelly and them realizing when it was missing, and whatnot. And sometimes when something's missing, if you don't attend to it every single day, and when you go to attend to it and notice that it's missing, you don't really know how long. If it's been a while since you even approached it. So I just find that weird that you had these tapes in your existence. To know what was on them means you watched, which is also illegal. That's illegal as well. So I'm just like, yeah, I just find that weird. Like, why isn't he being arrested too? Like, he definitely should be. I feel the charges should be take it serious. Take it serious all around the board. Don't just hold some people accountable. Hold everybody that knew accountable. I feel like the only people that can't really hold accountable is the public. Like especially like back in the day with the tape being sold as a bootleg, and whatnot. How y'all coming in their house telling them that it's a kid allegedly or a teenager on that tape when y'all say y'all acquitted him? Y'all said that it wasn't. So with a person that had it, they could easily say like, no, this is a grown woman. It's proven. Like, how do you dispute that? Like, I'm like, that makes no sense. The court deemed her by acquitting him that's not a teenager on the tape. According to the court, she grown. From what I'm getting. So how y'all coming in their household telling them that they got CP, which they did. So that's what I'm saying. But since she was a black girl, they didn't care. I mean, it just was what it was. They just ate her up and spit her out, type of situation. But I just found that weird that he didn't get arrested, but y'all bring it. Okay, well, he was. What about the press conference? He can cancel it, knowing everything. That's just fine. He took the money. So he sold CP. Ain't that 3 charges? Possessing it, watching it, and selling it. I'm whatever. So, but whatever. So I mean, hey, I'm not the law, but it is what it is. So the duo agreed to pay one of Kelly's alleged victims, another unidentified person, for working to return the recordings. Okay, Lisa, but only after they took polygraph examinations to confirm they returned all of the copies in their possession. Wow. The charges allege. So this is why they're being charged, which is more people should be being charged, including Lisa. Why isn't Lisa being charged? Lisa did not turn the videos in, though. Even the ones that she said, she admitted that she stole videos. Why you ain't getting charged? You stole them to sell them back to them. Like, that's crazy. Like, why she ain't getting charged? Lisa, Lisa, girl. Hi, Wayne. Wild Shine Everywhere show got us done. Sent me thank you for me being in your chat. Oh, shout out to you. Shout out to Goddess Dawn as well. Gone Goddess Dawn, girl. Shout out to her. So yeah, I just find that crazy. Like, yeah, all these people done sold and bought and sold and stole to see to sell back, all of this, but ain't none of them getting charged. Like, yeah, that's weird. Okay, we right here, right? Yes. The charging documents also outline how Kelly and McDavid tried to keep minor one, the girl in the 2008 trial, from coming forward. Kelly allegedly directed her to lie to cops when they first suspected wrongdoing in the early 2000s. So they're saying when Sparkle called CPS, because she was so concerned, when Sparkle spitefully called CPS, and for no other reason, Reshonda lied to the police department and child welfare services. She lied to them and said that when I'm going on, I don't know what y'all talking about, leave me alone. Okay? That's what had happened. So that's what they talk about right here. When Sparkle that spitefully called CPS on her ex-boyfriend and her niece, she did it. She did it in 2000. She did it in 2000 after Lisa what's her name? Van Allen. Lisa steal your man, Lisa Streetwalker Van Allen. Lisa steal your watch, Lisa steal your bag of tapes, Van Allen. Yep. Lisa Van turn your back and steal your wallets, Van Allen. Lisa shake your hand and take your watch right and your bracelet right off your wrist, Allen. Yes. Lisa Streetwalker, Van Allen. Yes. You ain't got to worry about her stealing your girl. She just going to steal your wallet. Hide your purses. Hide your purses. Girl. Do not coat check if she in the club, Van Allen. Girl. Whew. Called Sparker and told Sparker that her niece was over there rolling around in the bed with they nigga. Yes. You know she over there still rolling around in the bed with our man. What we gonna do about that, girl? What we gonna do? Girl, I feel like all of us in the group should call CPS. No, girl, because he ain't answering none of my phone calls or none of that stuff. None of that stuff. He keeping promises to her, but ain't keeping none to us. No, let's call. Let's call in unison. In unison, girl. Text me when you get off the phone with the man. You better not lie. And you better not lie. So, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's what happened. Y'all welcome. That's what happened. So, out of spite, the sister wives, Sparkle and Lisa Van Allen, called child protection in 2000. Okay? Okay? Because they was mad that Reshona was still over there with Robert McDonald's Kelly. They was upset because Lisa's mad she can't steal no more, and Sparkle mad that Kelly wasn't writing for her no more. Lisa mad as hell she couldn't steal from nobody. Everybody sleep at the party. She walk around digging in pockets and in bras. Girl, Lisa panhandling Van Allen. Ooh, I don't like her. Oh, I don't like her. Okay. So before I was rudely interrupted by Lisa, Lisa, you can leave my show. Because she must be here, me talking about her. You can leave. Girl, I do not like you at all. You still a liar. And you was still on them tapes, on there rubbing on them little girls. You was on that tape with Robert doing all of that. I said, now drop it like a thotty, drop it like a thotty. You was doing all of that in the video with them churn, girl. Yay. Over there with them churn, that is a girl, you ought to be in jail. So, anyway, let's keep going. So, minor one, the girl from 2008, y'all know that's Reshona. Kelly allegedly directed her to lie to the cops when they first suspected wrongdoing in the case early. In 2000, Kelly and McDavid are also accused of telling the girl's father to lie to grand jurors about the videotape. So I'm assuming that his testimony, Greg's last willing testimony, gonna say something about that. The feds also claim that Kelly and McDavid made payments to the girl and her family. We already knew all this. From 2000 to 2015, to keep them from discussing the encounter. The case against Mr. McDavid is essential. A case against the legal team that defended R. Kelly in 2008. Vadim Glosman, who represents McDavid, said he was doing what he thought He was doing what he thought was in the best of his in the interest of his client. Is this a white man? At the direction of his lawyers. He did nothing wrong. Ooh, not nothing wrong or improper, and we intended to prove that at trial. Oh, that's because that's because they blamed everything on R. Kelly. Okay, yeah, so we didn't do nothing wrong. That was him. Oh, okay. I got you. I got you. So, okay. So, I got it now. Brown's attorney did not want to comment at this time because he didn't feel like lying yet. He gonna wait till the trial. He's saving his lives. He like, yeah, I don't feel like lying today. I gotta say, see y'all in court. You know what I gotta say? Come to court. Come court. And I'm here. Come court. So, it's come court. Come court. So, back up. What was the other Chicago trial? Let's get into it. Kelly drew the attention of authorities in the late 1990s, years after he became a superstar, according to a Chicago Sun-Times article by Jim, how you say that? DeRogatis, and Abdon M. Polish. Who is these people? My God. And these names. Where did they come from? Oh my God. Who's these people? Police started to probe whether Kelly and the girl identified in Chicago court papers as minor one were merely having S encounters. The minor and her parents denied any S activity. In April 2000, the Illinois Police Department, Department of Children and Family Services, began to investigate whether the superstar was committing SA against minor one. Oh my goodness. According to the charging paperwork, DeRogatis and Palash reported in December 2000 that Kelly used his position of fame and influence as a pop star to meet girls as young as 15 and have sex with them. About 2 years later, DeRogatis received a tape in his mailbox allegedly showing Kelly having sex with a minor. Per the New York Times, in June 2002, Kelly was charged in Chicago State Court with 21 count of CP in relation to what the feds described as video one and minor one. Now, this language is very important, as it shows the overlap between Chicago trials some 20 years ago and the 2022 proceedings. In the 2019 Chicago federal indictment, prosecutors are charging Kelly in relation to the minor in video from his trial 2 decades ago. The feds also say that about 1 year before the 2008 trial, McDavid and Brown tried to pay someone for the videotape showing Kelly allegedly having sex with minor one. Okay, so that's a separate tape. That's not the same tape. Yeah, weird. That is crazy. What happened? Who said something? I think what Valerie said was a joke. Somebody did say I dropped out in the 8th grade. So shout out to Valerie. I think that was just a joke. Shout out to Valerie. The girl in Kelly's prior case, minor victim one, refused to testify against him at trial, leading to his notorious acquittal in 2008. Her willingness to come forward has apparently changed. However, according to reports, she has cooperated with the feds in these recent federal proceedings. She is expected to testify according to the Chicago Sun-Times. If Kelly was convicted, why are the words like allegedly being used to describe the Chicago case? In short, the cases are different. On October 27, 2021, Kelly was convicted on racketeering count and 8 man counts in his Brooklyn federal court case. The Mann Act is a statute that prohibits transporting persons across borders for illicit SA. So that is him taking girls girls underage, like out of the state. That's what that is, right? So not like literally like stealing them, but not having permission from the guardians to take them out of the state because they are minors. So you need permission but he didn't have permission. But I thought with a lot of these people, parents, never mind, because that's a whole nother rabbit hole. That is a whole nother rabbit hole. That's a whole nother rabbit hole. Kelly's charges in his Brooklyn case involve 6 women. Pace. What? Jane, Stephanie, Sonia, Faith, and Aaliyah. The Chicago cases involve CP and obstruction charges, of which Kelly has not been convicted. In other words, he was found guilty in Brooklyn on one set of crimes, but at present he is presumed innocent of the charges in Chicago federal case. Meanwhile, Kelly also faces state X crimes charges in Illinois and allegations of prostitution with an underage person in Minnesota. So, according to the New York Times, so we all know R. Kelly in jail. So, yeah, so that's giving y'all like a brief thing of what's going on. These are new charges. There are other tapes that the last trial, with just the one tape, the jury only had to watch one tape. Now they have to watch 4. They have to watch 4 tapes. Oh my goodness. That's gonna be crazy. Like they have to watch 4. And the judge, from what I gather, wants this to be more so like a speedy, like he doesn't want to go more than like 4 or 5 weeks or something like that. So 4 tapes. Oh, my fault. Sorry. 4 tapes. 4 weeks. So what? They must go make them sit down and watch all of them just the same day, or same week, or something like that. But that's a lot to breathe in. 4 videos, because it's 4 videos, and these are alleged minors on each one. So that they're showing. They're not showing him in a tape with an adult. They would have no reason to. That wouldn't be on trial unless it was like a crime being committed within the recording. But the crime that's being committed within these tapes that they're going to show are that they're minors. That's the crime. That's the crime. That they're minors. So that's why it's, and so the jury is going to have to watch 4, and I don't believe they have to watch the tapes in their entirety. I just think there's just certain parts that the prosecution will want to point out and whatnot. But it's the cross-examining, all of that's going to be a lot in the court. So these jurors, that's why the juror selection was so important, and they just have the juror selection because they're about to be traumatized. They're about to be traumatized. This is a lot. That this tough jury like that, because this is a lot. It definitely is. It really is. So it's going to be hard to sit there and watch 4 different girls. And then from the first tape with the urinating on the floor and the him doing certain things to them urination wise and urination sorry urinating wise, who knows what are on these tapes? Only the people involved do, and the people that have seen them. Who knows what's going on? I mean, in the first one alone, there was a lot stated, and a lot of things that were hard to hear. Like, we read the transcripts yesterday. We haven't even gotten to the part of the transcripts when, because I'm not even gonna say that, I skipped over it because it's heavy. Like reading it. What happened with Reshona? It's really heavy. So I'm just like, so I just skipped pretty much the second part. But in the second part, there's things that he admits in the video with certain body parts of hers, saying how youthful she is, also stating even her age at times in the video. I mean, there was a lot. I'm like, this is heavy. So there was really no question of how old she was, because I mean, she said it he said it in the video multiple times. So I mean, there was no question of how old she was. That's why I find it weird when people give her a different age, like, oh, she was 15. No, she was 14. It's stated. there. I mean, so it's not like when people trying to make it seem like, oh, well, he didn't know. What? Like, what? Because Reshona and I, we're the same age, I believe. I believe we're the same age. Yeah, she turned 34 this year, so do I. So we're the same age. So when everything was going on, I was the same age as her. That's what I said. I had really no like real grasp, of what was really happening besides what I heard adults say and what I saw on TV. But other than that, I mean, we're the same age, so, and I was that age hearing about those type of things. So I know she had to be mortified, extremely embarrassed. Just the embarrassment alone can be traumatizing. Like what happened to her type of thing, you just go underneath the rock and you just never show your face again, type of situation for what, especially what took place, inside of the video. Like crazy. Like it was a lot, very heavy, very heavy. So yeah. So I mean it's stated in the video. I mean, like he said it to her and she agreed within the video. So I'm just like, okay, well, what's the argument here? I was just trying to figure that out. I'm like, what are people arguing about? Like okay. But it is what it is. So let's get into why I feel like the title of the video. Just wanted to update y'all on what's going on with that. So alleged victim featured in R. Kelly's original 2002 explicit tape filed for bankruptcy after his recent arrest. Okay, now this was done, what was this, 2022. This article was updated, and this is from Radar Online. The alleged victim featured in the original explicit tape that sparked the 2002 criminal investigation into R. Kelly started experiencing financial issues after his recent arrest, Radar has learned. So, Reshona allegedly filed for bankruptcy not too soon after R. Kelly got arrested. Now, she doesn't work anywhere. As far as we're concerned, there's no paperwork placing her on anybody's job, or anything like that ever, pretty much in her 34 years. So her filing for bankruptcy after he got arrested made sense if he was no longer financially taking care of her. So that makes sense. I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes complete sense because at that time, R. Kelly was dealing with the mains like Joycelyn, Azriel, all of that. When he got arrested, that's who he was too busy worried about them, putting them in Trump Towers and all that. He was too concerned about them and what he had going on with that situation because there was so many people jumping ship, and whatnot. So he was, he was focused on them, at that time. He was not focused on her. So I could see why he, certain bills of hers and stuff wasn't getting paid because he was too busy taking care of other people, sending other people money. It was other people stealing from him. And then he was getting, because touring, that's how R. Kelly made his money. So when they start canceling him off the radio and stuff and canceling tour dates and his tour dates that he did have, people coming in there saying the things that they're saying or people just not supporting him and whatnot, the money was already starting to go down, just from that alone. And then he started getting hit with all of these bills, child support, so literally, so with the money that he did have, he only going to take care of certain people. So she was one of those people. So she filed allegedly for bankruptcy. Reshona, okay. The disgraced singer will find out his fate next week after being found guilty of sex trafficking and racketeering. The I Believe I Can Fly singer could be sentenced up to 25 years in prison. He was taken into custody in 2020 on the charges, which are when his original alleged victims started having money issues. The woman was at the center of Kelly's 2002 criminal investigation, which law enforcement launched after receiving a video of Kelly with an underage girl. Kelly was indicted on 21 counts of CP, but he walked free in the end of his 2008 trial. The alleged victim did not cooperate with authorities. All right, so Radar Online, this is how you know something weird about this, because it says Radar Online obtained bombshell court documents that revealed the now 37-year-old. It's like she's not 37. It's like, who are you talking about? Because Radar, She's not 37. Get your facts straight. Her and I are the same age. I'm not 37. So she's not 37. So yeah. Well, weird, unless she lied about her age too. But yeah, because if she was 37, then would she have been like legal in 90 something? But anyways, so moving right along, let's get into. I don't know if you said she filed for bankruptcy, but there's other reports out there too. Just like Radar Online says, victim in infamous 2002 tape to take the stand and tell the jury about hush money payments. Now, this is true. It's been pushed everywhere with everybody stating this. So I bring this up to say this. Now, Reshona, let me get something to drink. Reshona Landfair is testifying against Robert, okay? And so is her mother, all right? That's what's going on, okay? I don't think that they should go to jail because this is a big question of my life. I don't think that they should go to jail because, well, I'm going to say Reshona. I don't believe she should go to jail because of the lies and lying for him and stuff like that. I don't think she should go to jail for that. She was a kid. There was a lot going on around her. All the people that she was supposed to love and trust, her mother, her father, were basically making her feel that this is something that she should hide, and whatnot. So it is what it is. Okay? It is what it is. I feel like her mom should go to jail for these set reasons, for knowing what was going on and not doing anything about it. Taking those payments and with the daughter still being present because she never left R. Kelly's side. She never left R. Kelly's side. So with that being said, she has been around all of this time. The father passed away. He passed away. So he can't be charged with anything. I would definitely say him as well if he was alive, but he's no longer living. So he passed away. But I just feel like you were taking these payments knowing what was going on. Like you knew what was happening. He was literally being tried for it. He went to court for, CPS came to you into all of that. So you clearly knew what was going on. And you chose to accept these payments, know about these payments. That's selling her. Like you're getting this because of secrets that you're withholding. Things you know that are going on, but you choose to turn a blind eye. So since you're turning that blind eye, I feel that blind eye causes you to go to jail. She should go to jail. She absolutely should. But when it comes to Reshona, if we're going to look at R. Kelly and feel like R. Kelly needs to be held accountable for the things that he's done, especially with these young girls, I feel the same thing with Reshona. It's been mentioned, and a lot of these, from the women that were around at the time, even Lisa herself, that she's had many, she saw Reshona often, type of situation. So obviously the girl never went anywhere. She was there. If R. Kelly's going to be held accountable for what he did, Reshona, many of the girls stated that she was basically the madam, if you will. She taught all of the girls coming in how to treat R. Kelly and what to do for him, sexually please him, and on and so forth. So if those girls were coming in and they were underage, you need to be held accountable for that as well. You absolutely do. I don't feel like that's fair for you to have been sitting there because you wanted to hold that secret when it came to you and what happened between you and Robert. That was you. You decided to do that. That was your choice. But if we're going to hold Robert accountable because certain things happened to him when he grew up by his own sister, by a man, the landlord, somebody that he looked at as a family figure, all of these horrible things happened to him. But it does not excuse what he did. It doesn't excuse any of those things. So it's the same thing with Reshona. If you were teaching minors the ropes as they were coming in as a grown woman, you need to be held accountable for that too. No different than Andrea Kelly and so on and so forth. I just feel like Reshona, you should be held accountable for that too. And I think that that's one of the main reasons that you are coming forward, especially with these other tapes that are coming out, because y'all truly do not know what's on them. Reshona, you have been around him from the age of 12, basically beyond. So who knows if one of those tapes from the early 2000s, or because you were still around him, mid 2000s, who knows what evidence they have. So you could be in one of those tapes with a minor yourself as an adult, Reshona. You could be 20, 21 or 20, 22, 25, 26 or something like that with a 15-year-old, 14-year-old. Like you could be. So you have no idea. So for immunity to protect you, you're coming forward now, because now it's more tapes involved. It's more people coming forward that are coming as witnesses and whatnot. To protect you, it's best that you come testify now to gain yourself immunity, so you ain't got to worry about it. So you ain't got to worry about it. You see, you don't want to have to worry about it, type of situation. I feel like you're like low-key protecting yourself, because all of y'all hurt people. I get that, I do. But if R. Kelly's going to be held accountable, so does anybody else that was involved, including Reshona. I mean, that's how I look at it. She should be held accountable as well. She should. If she was doing anything, now if everything she was doing was with adult women, okay. I mean, I ain't got nothing to say about that. But if any of it was with anybody underage, anything like that, yeah, you lock her up and throw away the key as well. I mean, but because it is weird, that now, besides the fact that you feel that you may be being incriminated in some way, let's come forward now and say something, because a lot of these whistleblowers that are coming forward could be blowing the whistle on y'all, or already have. So it's best that y'all say something now to gain immunity, so that y'all don't come up on charges too. No different than Lisa Van Allen. I feel like she did the same thing. I feel that she came forward with certain information back in the early 2000s, because she already knew ish was about to hit the fan, because she stole those tapes, she sold them and whatnot, and she don't know what old boy did, because he was grimy, so he could have had more tapes. The bootleg was out, so it was a wrap. So so let me go testify. Let me go tell them everything I know, so that this don't come fall back on me. Let me gain immunity so that I don't have to worry about being tried or anything. But here's the pickle. Van Allen, I feel that, because I don't believe that she was 17. I believe that Lisa Van Allen, I believe she was an adult. She is a con artist. I believe she was an adult. She was 18 years old when she was around R. Kelly. I believe that. So I believe with her being in because I believe one of these videos, one of these 4 tapes, is going to be Lisa, Reshona, and R. Kelly. It's going to be them 3 in one of these tapes that are coming forward. And I believe that Lisa was 18 in that video. I believe she was 18. And I believe she should have to prove that she wasn't. And this is a whole new case. So it's not like it was the first tape and Lisa was in that one and everybody got acquitted and everything is good. No. This is a whole nother tape. This is a whole nother situation. It's still a crime. It's still a crime. It doesn't matter that he did it. No, that was a situation that was known about the videotape. That means that nothing else happened. That's why I said before that R. Kelly had been having sex with Reshona. It's not, you could tell, like I said, within the video, that it wasn't the first time it happened. Like clearly, like this is like routine. And with her being around for so long, her being on multiple tapes, clearly is something that happened over the years. That's pretty obvious. It's not like he did it once or twice. Like, no, he did it whenever he wanted to. He did it whenever he wanted to. And she was in-house, like she lived with him. So, and it was in-house. It's not something he had to go and get. It was already there. It was right there. So, But yeah, so do y'all want me to drop the link? Do you guys want to come up and tell me your thoughts on, do you think Reshona and her mother should be incarcerated? I can drop the link. I absolutely can. Absolutely can. But we're about to go on Station Head in like 30 minutes. 30 minutes. So we literally only have 30 minutes. So if y'all come up here, I'm cutting it at 30 minutes. So it's being cut. Oh, JB just said, please stay on topic. So yeah, I will drop the link. I sure will. Hold on. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, I for one feel like it's fair, if she did anything with any minors or young underage, anything like that, I think that she should go to jail. I mean, I do. I do. I absolutely do. I do. Because I mean, to me, R. Kelly learned everything honest. To me, like him literally paying people off behind the scenes and all of that stuff, all of that happened to him. That's what I said. Like the story with him really saddens me because he'd been through a lot, you know, for that man to be doing what he was doing to him when he was a kid, and for his mom to take that $5,000 so that R. Kelly would not come to court and that they would not go to court to testify against him. He did the same thing. He just was doing what he knew. Well, this is what happens. You just give them some money. I mean, it's what happened to me. Like, I mean, it wasn't no big deal, but they took the money and I ain't testify, and it was fine. It was no big deal. Why it's a big deal now? It's how I feel like he was looking at it because he was not protected, when he was younger. Nobody protected him. They let him be used and tossed around. And it's very sad that it is. So he wasn't doing anything that he didn't get honest. That's why I was like, okay, well, that makes complete sense. And to why he was paying people off, and whatnot. Because in his mind, I feel like he has the mind of like a 14, 15-year-old, a 16-year-old at most, maybe 17. So I think that that's another thing too, that because how people look at it is like, well, how are you able to be attracted to all? I think that R. Kelly could sleep with older women or women that weren't necessarily around his age, because he really didn't deal with those type of people. He more so dealt with a girl either younger or older. And I think that that's, like kind of how he viewed things. I mean, he's attracted to older women because that's who have been hurting him. His older sister, doing all the things that she was doing to him and forcing him to do, and whatnot. So, and he honestly, like I said, he kind of wore like a badge, like an of honor. Like he didn't look at it as her hurting him. He enjoyed it. So, and that's what really made me sad. I'm just like, well, he can't really differentiate between the two. So he has no idea how a family is truly supposed to love you. Him being attracted to his mother makes sense if his sister is sleeping with. Why wouldn't he be? What's the problem? Why can't he be attracted to mom? Why not? Like, why can't I be? So I mean, that's just how I view things. I'm just like, poor guy, that he had to live life that way. That's very unfortunate. So, and then with what happened to him happening to him, and his mom taking that money instead of taking him to court and letting him testify, that sucked. I was like, that poor kid, to have to sit there and watch the people. Hi, Right. Hi, JB.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I have a question for you, and it's totally probably just opinionated, but just from watching this topic here, and I know you've covered like similar stories with the Chris Stokes, and we know about the Bill Cosbys and all that, and the Playboy Bunny, and I wanted to know, because I sort of look at it this way, it's like, why now, after so many years of people, especially R. Kelly, doing things like this, and the industry basically helping him cover it up? Do you ever question yourself, like, why at this time is it such a big deal? Which it is. I mean, it should have, it's long overdue to be handled with, but why do you think in the industry, like, they bring out particular artists and like slam them so hard at a certain time like this?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily like a slam. I think it's more so of a bound to happen.
Right.
If you're really powerful, you're gonna brush shoulders with people. Some shoulders you brush are gonna be good shoulders. Some shoulders you brush are gonna be bad ones. So I feel that R. Kelly was dealing with both sides. I feel that he was dealing with a lot of people that were up on the up and up, and I feel that he was dealing with a lot of people that were bad people, people that he should have never had any dealings with. And I feel that those bad people are going to protect themselves. It's no different than the first trial. I feel the entities behind him was helping protect him to protect themselves. Like, so it really had nothing to do with them. But at this point in time, there's a lot of operations and systems that have been being, operations especially that people have found out about that have been exposed. All type of trafficking and stuff like that, setups and storefronts and stuff for certain things and studios and stuff to where they've been, doing certain things to certain people, selling people, all type of crazy illegal stuff that we would never think that was going on. And I think a lot of those people, the bad ones that's doing all these things, know that something was about to go down. A lot of information was about to come out about certain things, and they couldn't stop it. So since they couldn't, they need a scapegoat, and they made that person R. Kelly. They don't need anything from him. They sucked him dry from his rights, his music, everything. They took everything from him, even prior, to this whole situation with they took everything. So now we don't need anything from him. He's going to be our scapegoat instead of us going down with him, because with all of the charges that he has, that means a lot of people are involved. Why is it just him? Like, don't get me wrong, he should be held accountable. But what about all of these other people that were helping? This was an operation.
Exactly.
For them to say all these things are going on. I mean, this sounds like hundreds of people, thousands damn near are involved with what's going on. Why are we only pinpointing certain people? And I feel it's for a certain reason. They put the black men, especially, the face of everything that's going wrong, because it's easy to believe.
That's what I've noticed. It's not even just the black men, it's black women. When I look at like some of our major influence, now, like I said, don't get me wrong, what they do in their personal life, and especially R. Kelly, like, it's bad. I don't agree with it at all. But as I'm seeing, like, our major influences, they're always like bringing about their major downfall, like bringing out like what they've been doing to like basically wipe them off. And I hate that, because a lot of them do impact us in such an empowering way. Like you said, his music was great. Like, it was good. They did it to, MJ, Whitney. We got, same line as you, Wendy Williams. Like, they all have this major influence. And
Well,
it's like
the
at a
love.
certain
When somebody is loved and they are feeding these big Hollywood people, not even a threat. At that point, they're going to do everything in their power to protect you. So it's no different than R. Kelly's first case. When in the 90s, early 2000s and whatnot, R. Kelly was one of the biggest artists ever.
Yes.
Like, literally, like one of the biggest names. So they're not about, this is their cash cow. They're not about to let him go down for anything. We are going to make sure we look, whatever it is, get rid of it, get rid of it, get rid of it. It's no different than a big artist now. Let something go down with like a Justin Bieber or like the Baby and people like that. The ones that are bringing in a huge revenue, they will protect them at all costs. They absolutely will. And then when they no longer need you, when they can't suck you dry, when they already done that, they will drop you like a bad habit. It's the same thing. When they need you, you're a priority. Then when they don't need you no more, they get rid of you. And
they do it through those deals, like you were saying, those deals.
Absolutely.
Because even before they come into the game, like even before R. Kelly came to the game, and like we've already discussed, he had this problem from childhood. You think the industry didn't know anything about that? Like, they know, they do background checks just like pretty much any job. They knew that this was an issue that this gentleman had. He can barely read, so I'm quite sure they knew that. And when you take these deals, I feel like us as black people, especially, you have to be careful with the deals you make, because especially if they already have something on you coming in, they know how to get you and they know how to take it away from you.
Oh no,
and expose you at the same time.
You want high candy?
How you doing, Sean? I'm gonna go. I've been up here long enough. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you for coming up, JB. Love you.
Love you. Bye bye.
Hey, Sean. I love you. You know I love you, Sean. I've been on here a couple times.
Love you
I
too.
am so glad you are covering this topic right here. Like it is so much. It's a lot. It's a lot. And one thing that I agree with that you just said, which was R. Kelly didn't do all of this on his own. It was people booking hotels. It was people picking those young girls up, bringing them from one place to another, flying them in, paying for plane tickets, picking them up at the airport, bringing them to him, setting up meetings between him and them. Like, where are they at in this thing? Where are their charges at?
No, I agree. Now they are trying to hold some enablers, which is only two, as within this trial, that from what we saw. But I agree. I can agree more. I think that there's a list of so many people that are involved, but the target is Robert.
R. Kelly.
So that's their target. So they're trying to push as much on him as possible. They don't want their neighbors. They care less about them. They want him. And what people don't realize about R. Kelly does have the type of influence, because I was just thinking about this morning. He has the type of influence where he can bounce back at any time. Now, I know a lot of people think like, okay, well, Sean, how could R. Kelly bounce back? How could he do that? They've canceled him, they muted him, they've done this, they've done that. R. Kelly is an amazing songwriter, an amazing songwriter. So if he wanted to, he could write songs and give them to other people and just have them sell them and turn them in and whatnot and be splitting the money with them, and stuff like that. Just his name right now is what's going to do. But a lot of people change their name, like Hitmaker. He was Young Bird and he changed it to Young. A lot of them changed their names after scandals, and stuff like that. So when you see their names on credits and whatnot, you have no idea who it is. You just see a name. So, but I think that R. Kelly has the power to bounce back. And with that in his mind that he has, especially when it comes to writing music and things in that nature, because he's written for Celine Dion, Michael Jackson, I mean, you name it, he done wrote for him. Okay, Elton John. I mean, just so many different people that he's written for, to where he could come back and do that all over again and become huge. He can make a lot of money, but they can't control him anymore because he's stepped away from certain entities. So with him doing that, if you're not for us, you're against us. So I think it's another reason to why they're slapping him to the wall. Like, we are no longer profiting off of you. So we have to get rid of you. And that's what they're going to do. It's no different with Bill Cosby. With that genius mind, he could create more shows, and stuff like that. Just don't stamp your name on it. Just don't be on set. When you good, those shows would still do great. They still would do amazing. And it's no different than R. Kelly. If he wanted to write songs, he could make so much money alone off of just writing music. He could. But they want to control that too. So we have to destroy his image. When his image had already basically been destroyed before. His humiliation, if there was going to be a ritual, that already happened. That happened in 2008. From 2002, 2008, they're like, that already happened. They're not going to humiliate him all over again. So this is for a reason. He is being targeted from certain entities. I absolutely agree with that. But it doesn't mean that he did nothing wrong. It doesn't excuse.
Oh no, I think he was 100% wrong with the way that he carried and conducted himself with these young women and everything, and making young Black girls a target for his own humiliation of them and control, mind control, sodomy, just all the things that he did to some of these young girls. Now, I would say that these older women, some of them that went over there and stuff, like, you knew what it was him for. And it never was a time that I don't believe that he wasn't himself behind closed doors. So you already knew what he was about. He ain't hide what he was about. He might have hid it from the public, but he surely wasn't going to hide it in his own home. So for them to say, like, people like the woman he was married to, Drea, you mean to tell me you never knew nothing about him having no girls around you at no time? I don't believe that. I'm sorry. I don't believe that. I think that everything was wide open. The way that some of the girls described it, saying that they wore the same outfits, they were all together at certain points in times. Okay. So none of them didn't know what was going on. Of course they did. His wife being around them, yes, she knew. Them older women going over there, yes, they knew. They knew what was going on. R. Kelly has been the same man that he has been the majority of his life. As being molested as a young man, that was all he knew. So where in God's green earth did he not be a molester his own self? an abusive type of person, mentally having mental abuse, physical abuse, and emotional abuse upon a woman or a girl. He's been that way a long time. And the sad part about it is that it was, you right, it was about the money. Long as they could get them dollars from him, and knew back when he was real popular, and I Believe I Can Fly came out, and all those good songs, hit after hit after hit after hit. They was happy to collect up, happy to get the money, happy to make sure everything was okay and their pockets was fat and he was covered so that he didn't get into any trouble. It's not by chance that the young lady who was supposed to show up in court didn't show up. Her family didn't just all of a sudden decide to go on a vacation at the time when she should have been at trial. This is not, you know what I mean? It was all to make sure that Robert continued to be able to be the hit maker that he was. But at some point in time, he decided he just wasn't going to either be used anymore, or they felt like he was irrelevant, or they felt like he had too much power. Let's take him down. It was something that happened that took a turn for where now he facing all kind of charges. And he is the face of this whole entire situation, when we know as a fact that there is a serious situation going on with some of our young ladies, younger women, younger men, and women, period, and mid to 20s all the way up to 35 missing in this country, being used as sex slaves. See, we got to use Robert and put the focus on him, so we take the focus off the bigger situation that's happening.
Right. Beautiful spirit, Whitney, welcome.
How
Hey,
you doing, Sean?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm
I'm
good. I
doing
just really,
fine.
I'm gonna say what I have to say and get right off. Real quickly, Sean. I just feel like, as a product of myself, I oftentimes get, I am, I guess, projecting my emotions off on Kelly, and that's not even a thing. A lot of us in this community of black individuals, we don't get therapy, we don't get help, we don't even get justice. So, you live to kind of just move along and deal with it. I feel like this is just a example of our community. We are the type, we're the only community, black people are the ones that'll be like, free Pookie, who done shot and beat up a old elderly woman. But we want to free Pookie because Pookie is the hood, and we know Pookie, but we want to negate what Pookie did. You know what I'm saying? Those are our heroes. Those are the people that we look to be like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was cool, he was down. And I feel like R. Kelly is no different. Yeah, he has great music and things like that, but we negate the fact of the matter of what he did to the community, and he did it to our community of black individuals. My thing is that, I don't know if anybody remember, but his brother even came out and said he had a tape with a white girl. Oh, he made sure to get rid of that, because it would have been crazy if that would have got out. But see, like you've said on several occasions, because it's the black woman. The thing is protect black men, but forget the black woman. It's always put on us that we're fast, we're grown, we're hot, we knew what was up, we wanted it, and things of that nature. But my thing is that, did R. Kelly at any point call the police? Did he send anybody back along their way? Did he call and say, hey, these parents are dropping their daughters off and I don't want them? Don't y'all know about what's going on in my way past? No, he continued to do everything that he did. And no shade, no tea, me, I've been in the educational system for over, 15 plus years, and that's childcare. I had little boys that was trying to hit on me because I'm petite, I'm small, I'm young, and I told them to sit their butt down somewhere, and I told their parents, because I don't have an attraction to children.
Right.
So it's nothing that you can do to put a child in front of me. I don't care if the little boy, a girl is butt naked between, it doesn't do nothing for me. So my thing is that it's just perplexing that people are getting a rage for him being held accountable for the things that he done. In regards to timing, I mean, it is what it is. You got to understand that's biblical. What you sow into the earth, it's going to be harvest time. And if you put bad seeds into the ground, you're going to reap a bad harvest. So at the end of the day, when you're in this industry that is already with devils and demons and destroyers, you're gonna meet your maker. We saw Harvey Weinstein, but nobody's talking about that. He had a whole documentary too, but because he's white and they protect their community. We're the only community that sit up here and protest for somebody that hurts the community. Them white people didn't do that over there. Harvey Weinstein paid off millions to these victims. People are getting mad at these victims over here getting book deals or going on interviews and stuff like that. We don't protect our own community at all. We're too busy worrying about what he had done to him when it was his choice to either help himself by getting counseling or to continue. And like I said before when I talked to you yesterday, I could have been an R. Kelly in the sense of I got molested, but I went on about my business and said that's not right. I don't want to inflict that pain to somebody else. It's time for us to sit back and look and see why is it that we are still deflecting with his behaviors and his action to what he did. Y'all gotta understand, just because you tell somebody, oh, I'm sorry I shot you, you still have to deal with the consequences of shooting them. And that's just what we're dealing with now. He is getting held accountable for his consequences. Okay. Period. It's no why now, not it's time. Just like you're going to have to be held accountable for the stuff that you do in life. Everybody is going to be held accountable. When your number is up, your number is up. But what you said earlier, when you're connected already to the devil, he gonna pull that string eventually, and your number is gonna be pulled up with him, and that's just what it is. And it's gonna trickle down to the rest of the people that were involved, parents, enablers, and all that. And just like in the industry, people are getting knocked down, but we sit up and act as if he the face. It's other people, y'all. It's Harvey Weinstein. He actually had to pay his victims, and he still did jail time. We have other victims that are not victims, but other people that are being held accountable. But we as a community don't want to let go of our heroes. Well, I don't want a hero that's up here messing with kids and stuff like that, that are beating, drugging and raping, individuals. Why is it that we are limited to these examples of imagery when it comes to people that we're supposed to look up to? We have great examples out there, but we don't put them up because we like drama. We like mess because we identify with that in our community. That's all I wanted to say, Sean.
Shout out to you. No, I agree with a lot you said. Absolutely. Shout out to you. Beautiful spirit.
How you doing, Sean?
How are you? I'm fine.
That's good. I just wanted to say that I feel like all the adults involved should be convicted. At to what degree, I'm not sure, but I think that mental health is real. And R. Kelly, yeah, he's been molested, but he's an adult and he should have seek therapy, some type of counseling, because that stuff does stick with you for life. And basically, I've been in the same situation, and when a child's been molested, and it follows you for life. It's a lot of jobs that you can't get because of that. Now, I don't know the people. I know in the past where when I was trying to get a job with my aunt, she was a daycare. She had her own daycare, and basically she couldn't use me as a assistant because of what happened to me. And they said because of what happened to me, it's possible that I could harm a child. So that's why during that time, that was the issue. What was told to me, and I think that was kind of messed up. So I don't think that no adults in this situation should get off. Period. It's like it's sick. R. Kelly is a sick man, and he need to get some type of therapy. That's all I wanted to say.
No, I agree. Shout out to you, beautiful spirit. I agree. I saw someone earlier. Shout out to Mel Cruz. Hi, sweetie. I saw someone earlier said in the chat that Robert's mom had a brothel when he grew up, and I did read. I believe it was in his book that he stated how there was someone in his home where he lived that was having a an experience, sexual experience, and he crept up basically to the door and whatnot to see what was going on because he just heard all these sounds and he couldn't differentiate. Like he didn't know what they were. Like it sounds like somebody was being hurt, but at the same time, it sounded like they weren't. So he was curious, like any child would be, and he watched. And the family member told him that they basically he'd come in, come in and close the door, type of situation. And he did not specify which person that was, but I believe that was his mother. I believe that that's what he was
Wow.
within that time, so that his mom basically let him come in the room and watch her be sexual with someone, But also, like I said, she allegedly, because R. Kelly's father has never, from what I've gathered, been mentioned or named, besides the fact that he may be a product of, because it was said basically that his grandfather is his father, type of situation. So I'm just like, well,
Yeah,
that's
so he's all messed up.
all messed up. Then his
Yeah,
mom too.
he's all
Allegedly, your father fathered children with you, like.
because his sister was the one that molested him too, right?
Right. She did.
Correct.
Yeah, his sister.
She
So
did.
it's a sad situation. But like when it comes to who's the breadwinner, all the adults they're gonna stick with whoever's has the income. They failed. I feel like the state failed a lot of those kids, and R. Kelly's family failed him. He was,
Yeah, he was his whole surroundings.
yeah.
Hi, Sean Davy Way. And
Honey.
hey, and beautiful spirit. You know what? I value what you came up here and said about what your situation, your past and stuff is like. So, shout out to you for even
Thank you.
sharing that information. And my biggest problem with the whole thing with this, well, one of my biggest problems with the R. Kelly situation is that it's easy when we are biased. It's easy for us to say, throw all the blame on Kels and say he needs therapy. It's his problem. Blah 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 blah. I feel like you're talking to somebody who really is seeing the big picture when they realize that not only did Kels have issues, but the households that those girls came out of had issues too. And so when we say
Hmm.
therapy is needed, that we need to encompass all of that. And one thing that really just triggers me is when you hear us as Black women say, protect Black women. Well, see, that's problematic when the first thing we do is don't hold ourselves accountable. Because what we're
Yeah.
doing, we look at these victims these victim witnesses that Kells is alleged to have ruined their lives. We're not holding them accountable or the people in charge of them accountable. And women, young ladies who are the ones who are really missing, the ones who are snatched up off the street and sex traded and all up in that industry, we are devaluing what actually has happened to them because I'll bet
Mm.
their parents didn't facilitate them being kidnapped and taken overseas. So there's a difference, and we don't seem to articulate that difference when we talk about Kels. And like up on this panel yesterday, I said, if Kels is guilty, lock that ass up, prove it beyond
Mm.
a reasonable doubt if that's the case. But everybody in the Kels case, we got to hold them accountable. When we say protect Black women, as a Black woman, don't allow me to make excuses for myself. Because then when I get in a circle outside of Black women, I'm coming up with, well, see, I got an excuse for not being 100, and I got an excuse for being trifling and low down. Why
Right.
aren't we making ourselves and holding ourselves accountable for our own actions? And if
That's
we
right.
screw up somewhere, let's rally together and fix what our problem is. But this blanket protect Black women, protect us all. Some of us ain't doing right. So
Sure right.
Hmm.
ain't no blanket statement to just be like, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna go out here and rape a nigga. I'm gonna go out. Oh, sorry, Sean, you don't like that word. I'm gonna go out here and lie about this and lie about that and lie about this. And then when I get caught up, I'm just gonna say protect Black women, and then I'm supposed to get a pass. No, I'm a
Right.
better woman than that. So don't make that my standard. That's what I'm saying.
Right. That's right.
That's true.
Hi,
That's true.
Ashley X. Hi.
I
Hey
agree.
y'all, can you hear me?
Yes, welcome.
Hello, 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 everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Sean, let me just say first and foremost, ladies, I hope you don't mind me just saying this real quick.
But Sean, I just want to say I've been watching you for about maybe like 3 years now going on. And I absolutely love you and everything that you do.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I just wanted to share the love to you. I'm watching from the UK, so
Yeah, I hear it. I hear
you,
it.
you hear it.
Yes, I hear it. I love it.
Yeah, so yeah, I just wanted to just say that first and foremost, and because you already know like the time zones with the US, like I'm not gonna lie, it's but I'm loyal. Like when it comes to people who I love and appreciate,
Oh,
I can always make the time. So I just wanted you to know that, and I just wanted to just share that. And ladies, can I just say something? There's something so empowering about having other women who are so strong and so strong opinionated and having opinions and stuff like that. And even though we may disagree to disagree, agree to disagree, I just want to let you guys know that. And Sean, I just wanted to make a comment on the R. Kelly situation.
go right ahead.
And I've been listening to you guys deliberate and discuss and everything, and forming my own opinions with all the information I already know. And I'm a Christian, and at the end of the day, for me, it's like I have to center myself and really think for myself, and not let any other like outside opinions affect my spirit. And I feel like only God knows what R. Kelly and R. Kelly's wife knows. Because for me, I find it hard to believe that she had you know, you know, she didn't realize that, he was doing that he was into that kind of stuff. He's a
I
very
said the
famous
same
guy,
thing.
and I understand that. But one thing, us women, yeah, we can be FBI's, we can be CIA's, we can investigate, you know, a man, especially a person who's our boyfriends, you know. So for her, you're dating one of the most hottest, in like artists in the world, and he's black too. So already the world's looking at him with a magnifying glass. And you're telling me you had no idea that this man had these kind of like weird fetishes and like desires and urges and things. Because I'm pretty sure at some point she felt like she wasn't good enough for him.
He was the breadwinner.
Well, and
Period.
she,
That's
and plus
that's
she
what it
liked
was.
women too, so it's alleged. So,
Exactly. So,
so
mhm.
it benefited both of them. It benefited both of them
Exactly.
for the way their
And I'm
relationship.
so glad you said that, because I was gonna say that obviously R. Kelly's, wife, she has some privileges, dating
Absolutely.
him, being associated with him, and all that kind of stuff. And
Hmm.
obviously, like, she was not used to that, like, that attention, that lifestyle, that, the money, the clothes,
But but
traveling around the
but that's a
world.
really good point of what you're saying right there. R. Kelly allegedly two marriages in his life, Aaliyah and Drea, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each marriage was for a reason. He married Aaliyah so that Aaliyah could not testify against him, and it was the same thing with Drea. I feel that he married her because why marry her and then just hide her from the world?
Yep.
Mm.
I feel like there are specific reasons of him marrying her because he never brought her like out and on red carpets and just let her be,
But
you know.
she was a cover up.
Yeah, so she
She was
absolutely
Mm.
just a
was.
cover
So
up.
she
That's
She
was
what
was
she
just
the
was.
She
beard.
was a
She was
beard.
the
there
She was the
beard.
like
beard.
as the
She was
prop,
the beard.
you know.
Yep.
Right. That's
Yeah,
what she was, a
Yeah,
prop
definitely.
wife. That's what
she
she
wasn't.
was.
He
No,
never really
and the
loved
thing is though,
her,
she was willing to play the role. That's the difference.
and she did.
Right.
That's why I said she's
She was
just as
willing.
guilty. She's
And she
just
was
as
willing to play the role up until the time when that child support stopped, and then that's when she wanted to share her story
Exactly.
and see how he
Talk
beat
about it.
her and
Talk
he
about it.
had
Exactly,
her hog
Candy.
tied
Talk
and all
about
this
it.
and
not
all
even
that.
Exactly.
not even all of
When
those
shit started
things.
to
I'm
get
Exactly.
not
real,
saying that
when
he
the
hog
bills,
tied her
Exactly.
and all of that stuff.
yes,
That
when
was
the
to
bills
make
started
him
coming
look
in and
aggressive.
shit, child support, when she started to realize she wasn't getting enough child support money, to benefit also her lifestyle too,
You're right.
you know.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
So she
Absolutely.
just
But
wanted to
like,
make him
but
look
like,
aggressive. That's all.
like you just said a minute ago, what's that?
Only Mel
Mel,
Cruz.
the
Mm-hmm.
only Mel
Mel
Cruz. You
Cruz.
said it a minute ago. The women who sat up here and allowed the whole situation to go on, they
Mm-hmm.
all need to be held
Right.
accountable. I
Yeah.
don't believe in no way, shape, fashion, or form that these grown women, because you got grown women that
Oh,
was stuck in R. Kelly house, you getting the same thing, saying this and saying that. Oh, he did
Mhm.
this, he did that to me. But wait a
Mhm.
minute, you a grown ass woman. You mean to tell me you couldn't get up and walk out the door and walk out of that situation since you knew that's what was
girl.
going on, that's what it was in for? I don't
Exactly.
believe that. And then the
Exactly.
parents, some of the parents that was bringing their children over there,
Pull
know
up.
who in the excuse my language, but I have a child. I have a young child, a young son. And if he was a girl, there is no way in hell I would be dropping him off at a grown man house for no
Right.
reason whatsoever. And if you talking about some music, I need to be right there every single moment that he or she is in your presence to see exactly what kind of music, what
Well,
y'all
how
talking
you
about, what y'all doing, everything.
but
Right.
how can you say that when you get with Aaliyah and they saying that Aaliyah and the mother was sleeping with R. Kelly? So it's like you can't. Your parent is supposed to be your protector, and
But
when
see
you
the
can't look there
difference.
for your parents to be there for you,
Right.
you know where else do you go?
But if you notice the difference, and this is the point I'm coming from, if you notice the difference, Aaliyah's mama, R.I.P. Aaliyah's mama ain't pulling up talking about, yeah, and look what he did to my daughter, this, that, and two-thirds. It's alleged that Kels was knocking the boots with both of them. Okay?
Hmm.
Well, you know
Whatever.
why
That's
Aaliyah mama ain't got nothing to say about it, because
Well,
that's why she ain't saying
Aaliyah,
nothing. She was paid off
allegedly,
good.
now
but you
let's
know
just
what?
be clear. Let's just be clear.
Mhm.
Allegedly, it's Aaliyah's uncle that was his producer, or was it some
All
type of
day.
manager
That's what I'm saying.
that
But
owns the rights to his music right now
yeah.
today. So
Mhm.
believe you me, for the benefit of her daughter being in the front of R. Kelly and her uncle being the manager and now
Right.
has his music, she don't
Yeah.
have
Right.
nothing to say. She
Ain't
don't
got
Right.
have a
nothing to
word.
That's
say.
right.
But
That's
see, the
right.
first time,
Can I
but the
say
first time,
something?
if
Can I say
Aaliyah's mama
something?
was to pull up, if Aaliyah's mom was to pull up and all of a sudden say, protect black women, then we're going to have to ask you what about these
Where was your
allegations that
protection
you
of
Can I
your
say
sleep,
own
something?
daughter?
you're sleeping
That's
with the
right.
very man
That's
you
Can I
right.
say
saying she needs
something?
to be protected against. And that's what
Sean?
I'm saying. We get
Yeah.
up here on these panels and all of a sudden we want to play this victim role. Stop playing. You're making
No.
it
Right.
worse
Can
for
I say
people.
something,
You're
Sean?
making it you're making it worse for people who
Mm.
are
Can I
really
say something,
victims.
Sean?
I missed 925. Hi.
You're making it worse
Can
for
I say
people who are
something?
real victims. So let's make it
Sean?
clear.
Right.
Sean, can I
Hi.
Right.
say something?
Yes, go right ahead.
It seems like to me from what I'm hearing is that for it's unfortunate, but it seems like Aaliyah in a way was really set up before everything, before her success, it doesn't seem like she had any control really
Okay,
in her life.
okay, hold on. When it comes to Aaliyah, I get really sensitive when her name gets brought up. And the reason why I get sensitive is because she never spoke on it. So with her never speaking on it, I think anything when it comes to her is just a bunch of allegations and the girl is dead. So it's just I just feel like that's falling on deaf ears. I do feel that like it matters because it does help explain other behavior. But when it comes to what happened between Aaliyah and their situation, yes, Barry Hankerson knew what was going on her uncle. He absolutely did. People are
Mhm.
making it look like when it comes to especially people being SA'd and having sex underage with older people, that it's everybody sees it. It's not something that is seen. People take opportunities to do certain things. So if Aaliyah is there with her mom and her dad, and people see that she's there with her mom and her dad, and then her and R. Kelly walk away talking, and then they just so happen to be gone for like 10 or 15 minutes and come back, they could have just engaged and who knows what just transpired.
Exactly.
So it doesn't mean that her mom literally opened the door and just like, go ahead, Aaliyah, go in there. Who knows what was happening between them? And people that are preying on someone, especially younger than them, they're not just going to be out and loud about it. They're not
No.
going to do that.
Facts.
But you
Facts.
can see chemistry between people. And that is why the
Hmm.
public always question their relationship because there was a lot of chemistry. Like they had a lot, it's like yin and yang. And they did look, if she wasn't a young child, they would have like years or so later made a cute couple, like Aaliyah and her 1 in a Million days. If they started dating then, that would have been a cute couple, her and R. Kelly. That would have been cute,
Yeah.
but her being a child, like you're grown. Nobody needs to look at y'all in that light. That's why people always ask Aaliyah, how old are you? And she would not answer. Aaliyah would not even answer her own age. So you knew
Right.
something weird was happening.
I
Because
remember that.
who don't say how old they are.
Right.
Like there's many
Right.
interviews. They ask, "How old are you?" During Asian of the Number on MTV, BET,
Yep. Yep.
VH1,
Yep.
all of it, TRL, everywhere she went, she would never answer the question. So
Well, I
that's
So
remember.
that makes
I
it look like
remember.
it was premeditated for him to be with her then. If she was
absolutely.
already denying her age.
They wanted to push
Well,
the
I'm gonna tell
narrative
you.
of them being a group,
Right.
a couple like they did
A
with Jay-Z
couple.
and Beyonce. They were
Exactly.
like literally dating at first. It was more so
Yep.
for image. And I think it was the same thing with Aaliyah and R. Kelly, but it turned into something else. But Aaliyah's not
Right.
going to speak. Like this whole Me Too movement, surviving R. Kelly, she wasn't here for none of that. Maybe she would have spoke. Maybe she
Yeah.
would have came out and said, you know, what happened, but we can only assume. So we truly do not know. Only truly R. Kelly knows what transpired between them. I do not feel like Aaliyah's mother was a willing participant or her father. They
Right.
were good people. When Aaliyah's dad found out about the marriage, R. Kelly was basically never in the same room with her again after that. That's not a parent that's selling their child.
There you go, Sean.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they were never in the same room
Right.
again.
That's
After
parental.
that,
That's parental getting involved.
all of that. She went from the whole Agent of the Number, all R. Kelly, and then the next album, for One in a Million, Missy, Timbaland, all that. She never dealt with R. Kelly after that. He didn't produce a song, nothing. So that does not sound like a parent that does not care.
Right.
That doesn't sound like that.
Right.
So people like
Agreed.
try to draw her parents out to be these horrible people. How do you know that? If there are people right now in your day-to-day life to where there are children that things are happening to them by adults. The viral video that was just out with the young lady in the back seat with her mom's boyfriend, her mom in the front seat driving, he rubbing her leg. She recording him rubbing her leg. Do you think her mom knew? Like, but she gonna know now. You know, so I mean, it is what it is. So it doesn't
But she
mean
said she
that
know now.
are doing it out and loud. It's when you prey on someone, it's a grooming, it's a process. And you're very sneaky and conniving about the things that you do. You know, so when they are doing it. So he could have truly pulled the wool over certain people's eyes. But Aaliyah's mother and father were always with her. But you can't be with your child 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like, you're always with your kid, but when they sneak and do certain things, are you there? When they sneaking and smoking weed, sneaking and drinking, sneaking and doing certain things, are you there? No, you have no idea. Only they know. It's that type of situation. But hi, Miss 925, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Sean, this is my first time calling in. Love the show. Love everything. Hi, everybody. I just want to
Hey.
say, I remember I'm old enough to remember when Aaliyah came out with Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, and I remember looking at her and R. Kelly, and I just, oh, they're a couple. They dress alike. They all close next to each other. They're very good friends
Yep.
to the end, whatever. And when she died, I didn't realize how young she was. And I'm thinking back, like, wait a minute. If she was this young when she passed away, then when AJ Number the Number came out, she had to be so young. And I'm just sitting here, like I'm from Chicago and just hearing, like being in high school, hearing stories about R. Kelly and just, just different things. And I'm just like, ew, like why does everybody love him? It's like it's just something off about him, just didn't know what. And I understand that he was like a victim of abuse and things happen to him, but at the end of
I'm
like
sorry,
there are
I don't
people.
mean to cut you off. I want to answer this real quick. Gemini
Okay.
said, how did Aaliyah get away that long to marry him? The whole thing is suspect. It was in a hotel room. Go ahead. It was in a hotel room. So it's not
Yeah.
like she went to Mexico,
Right.
whatnot. She went to Honduras and got married. No, it was,
Yeah.
Didn't they go to Las Vegas?
yeah, in a hotel room.
In the hotel room.
The whole tour was there.
Wait,
Everybody
Sean.
was there.
Sean.
And she was with managers, R. Kelly's managers and whatnot too. So it's not like she was just gone, like she just disappeared. Like, it wasn't like that.
Wait, who
Yeah.
authorized that though?
Hmm?
Like when
It
people
was
get married,
it.
and
Nobody
like
authorized them.
eyewitnesses, like who authorized that?
It wasn't
Nobody.
authorized.
Who
It
authorized
wasn't
what?
authorized.
Nobody authorized.
Nobody did. That's why
Nobody.
it's old, because nobody authorized.
Yeah, and she in the lie, the idea that the marriage license said she was 18 and she wasn't. That
She had two
no.
eyes,
Yeah.
so she couldn't legally be married. So no.
No.
Wait, so how did they get away with it for more than a decade?
They weren't married for more than a
They
decade.
weren't married. It was
They,
just
they, it didn't last long at all. They came out and they realized it, and it was over. Period.
yeah.
So,
I didn't
yeah.
hear.
So it was official, but it wasn't one that was recognized by Aaliyah's family.
Absolutely. It
So
wasn't legal.
And they went and they got it annulled right away.
right. But you
Yeah,
know
they
what?
got
See that even that in and of itself, the Aaliyah's parents
Here.
are giving an example of how you supposed to rock with your children.
Mhm.
Not the other stuff of accepting money and continuing to be employed by and then denying and going to the grand jury and saying, no, well, it ain't me and it ain't her. And you wait until, you about to get on up out of here for life and you write an affidavit or whatever you did. Aaliyah's parents are a living testament of how a parent whose child may have went down that road, how to reel that child back in. That's what needs to be discussed because we are telling kids, we're telling 13 and 14-year-olds right now that are up on this R. Kelly thing. We're telling them just act like that, get all the money you can, extort a nigga, extort them, and then when the jig is up and the nigga ain't got no more money, then cry victim. That's what we're teaching when we don't use our voices and say, the first time you can get your up out of there, get the hell on and tell somebody. This letting this thing rock until there's no more money, and then all of a sudden this cry victim stuff, stop playing with this because white children are not being treated like this. Other race children are not being treated like this. So we're automatically setting our black young ladies up to start thinking that I can be as low down as I want to be. And then when it's done, when it's found out, I'll just blame everybody else. Stop that. And beautiful spirit, you said that you're a victim. Did you, if you don't mind me asking, but did you step up and say, hey, wait, this is happening? Or did you play in it and wallow in it and deal in it until, I mean, I don't know if as a victim, as you indicated you were, does what I'm saying make sense to you?
Yes, it makes a whole lot of sense. But I grew up and I seek therapy for myself. I'm not saying that I don't still deal with it, but
Right,
it's I just I had to just be think about myself, and I prayed on it,
right.
and
But
that's what
see,
I did. Although he hasn't been convicted of anything, he's still out there. He has a child by a young girl. I looked on case search just the other day and seen that he has a protective order because he has a baby by a minor. So this is my mother's um ex-husband. So
mhm.
yeah.
But you're given a prime example of the action to take. You see what I'm saying? And so when you stand
Yeah,
up and say,
you have to seek therapy. You really do.
yeah,
It's no way in the world that
that
it's really no way in the world you're going to be able to do it by yourself. Because I'm constantly talking about it, and that's therapy for me. Although I had professional, I seek professional help, but me talking about it, it helps a lot, and then I know it helps other people.
That's right.
So
right.
That's right.
But so like 007, yes, that's what is being alleged. But one thing that is in the documents, Reshona maintained a relationship with Kels even after this 2008 acquittal. So that's the other thing. She would, Kels would break her off some money, this, that, and two-thirds. It's documented that she called Kels and said, hey, I need some rent money. And first he told her no. And then she said, well, now remember what I did for you and remember this and that and blah, blah, blah. And so then Kels started breaking her off. And that's where we're not making the line clear. So when we come in here and say, oh, protect black women and see it ain't fair, and then y'all let this stuff rock, I'm wondering what the hell is wrong with the person saying protect black women. Because that is, and like I said, victims need help. Victims should be protected. We need to make the playing field clear so that victims
mhm.
don't are not re-victimized, so that victims are not
Exactly.
putting themselves further in situations because we haven't made it clear. Okay, when this happens, get the hell up out of there. The one girl that was in the room claimed she was locked in the room. She had a phone. She called everybody but somebody to get her the hell up out of
We
there.
are products of our environment. So with being a product of your environment, if your parents let somebody use you, manipulate you, and abuse you for umpteen years, and this is how you get paid, this is how you pay your rent, this is how you get your food, this is how you take care of your child, it is what it is.
Right.
So that would stem there. So she is a victim. She's a victim
Exactly.
of a situation that has been prolonged, that has had truly no real help. So I
No,
mean, with her not having truly any real help, she's just gonna do what she knows. So I'm
exactly.
not
And
about to knock her
right.
for you know what's up. I basically saved your life. You're gonna take care of me forever,
Right.
basically, like you promised me.
Right.
I'm
And
not
that's
gonna Shona for that.
no, yeah, no, and you're right, Sean, and that's what I'm saying is like this is a prime example for us to make the line clear, especially for the young girls coming up. So when we say protect Black women, they look at what Reshona is going through. Yeah, you're right. Everything you just described, her actions are not questionable at this point because her mother and her father being aware and this and that, all of the hands in there to twist that thing up. I'm surprised the girl's still living, but I'm saying when we get it
for her, I feel like as if you when you have real parents,
right,
parents that will not give you to the sharks. So
right,
that's why the conversation to me always goes back to the parents.
right.
Because if her parents would not have fed her to the sharks, she would not have became one herself.
Thank you very much.
Fight or flight, fight or flight. You know, so
Absolutely.
and that's the situation that they put her in. They placed her in this situation. They normalized what was going on with her by accepting it. A real parent, this is not normal, we're not accepting it, blah, blah, blah. We're taking action immediately. You know,
Exactly.
so happening, and that kind of knocks you back into
Right.
this new normal. It's just like, oh, okay, I'm being protected. But
Right.
if the people that you love, that love you the most, like she said, her father was everything to her. If he's looking her in her face, letting her know that what she's doing is okay, if she
Right.
wants certain things or to buy certain things or go certain places and call my godfather, even got him calling her Godfather and calling him Godfather and
Yeah.
things like that. It's a different type of manipulation.
It's sick. It's
That
sick.
is
That's
very
what it is. It's sick.
very
And so when we get up here, and so that's what and it leads right back to, and it makes it hard to be clear on who's a victim and makes it hard to call out and see the levels of victimhood. Because everything you just described, that is victimhood. This girl was victimized in being in that situation. Now, I'm gonna say if what we know all of that is true. My point is that when we jump up and say protect Black women, y'all, let's make it clear. Let's make it clear so that no other young ladies will come up and think, oh, I see this girl doing this, I can do this. Or, this is how I'm supposed to act. Let's make it clear. Let's stop clouding the water and muddying the water. And you don't know if you're a victim or do I like it or you don't know. Because everybody's just saying, just do what the hell you want. When the money runs out, sue a nigga. So,
Mm-hmm.
No, absolutely. No, I agree. I do think that action does need to be taken immediately. It's not something that needs to be waited on. It's not something that needs to be used as leverage. I mean, how can you use somebody's life or life experience as leverage?
To pay a bill.
At this point, that's pretty much where it got with her. So with Reshona, as long as she didn't knowingly interact with anybody underage, I don't feel like she's done anything wrong.
Oh, no, not at all. Not
I don't
at
like
all.
to me, I think that you can only be a victim for so long if you're not willing to take action or at least acknowledge the fact that things happen to you so that you can start to acknowledge them, so you can start working on them, so eventually you can move on. Because healing is a process.
Right.
That's why people say
Yes,
heal.
it is.
It's a process.
Right.
It takes
I'm gonna say this. I
layers.
don't mean to cut you off, but I'm gonna say this because there was something that I had seen where one thing for sure and two things for certain. R. Kelly was the older women in the house was being sure to videotape them with the younger girls so he would have something upon them.
Mm.
Something to be able to say, okay, I got this videotape of you. Now, if you do me bad, I'm gonna show the world that this is who you are.
Yeah.
So
Well,
it's
we got like
a lot of
another.
that kind of where he victimized some of the older women in the house and made them be with the younger girls so that he could have them on videotape and use that as leverage against them too.
Sean,
No, I
can
feel
I
like
say
that's
something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I recently graduated from studying criminology last November, And one thing with chronology is we study, crime and like why people do the things they do and why, they may behave the way they do. And there's a theory that we learned that that happens with abusers and the victims, which is the theory of the Stockholm syndrome.
Hmm.
And it's something that happens when, the offender, let's say, let me make it a analogy for
Right.
you. Let's say you're in a bank, right? And then it's like a gang of four people and they're going to the bank and then they're going to they shoot up the guns, say we're going to rob the bank, everybody put your hands up, everything. And the bank necessarily may not have enough time to ring that alarm bell to notify the police, like, there's an offense happening, right? What happens is, most, I'm not sure exactly what the percentage is, but you can only imagine the people who are in the bank. There's a percentage of them who are willing to empathize with the offenders and are able to, in some kind of way, like find some kind of rational understanding for what they're doing. And what the offender will mostly do is, you find they will defend their victims who they are trapping in the bank from the police officers, because naturally the offenders see the police officers as their enemies.
Right.
Do you see what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So,
Hmm.
You're
Yeah.
saying
I
bank
see.
robbers are hot, and they are.
so right. So obviously R. Kelly, he's an artist, he's famous, he's well known, and his captors already attack. His victims already attracted to him by nature because they know of him, right? So it's only natural for them to find a way to empathize and sympathize with him, whether they know what he's doing is right or wrong, because
Yeah.
everybody has rational thought.
Right. And you know what, Ashley, that I get what you're saying, and I'm familiar with that Stockholm syndrome, but
So I'm
that
not
doesn't.
saying what R. Kelly did was right or wrong,
Right. No. No. No.
or or,
No.
or,
No. No.
or or
No.
whether like the daughters or the victims, because Sean, I agree with everything you said, 100%. 100%. Because not only were you just thinking as a father, you were thinking as a human being, and you were thinking as like a outsider looking in. And that's one thing that I really appreciate about you, Sean, because you look at things like bird's eye view.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes we live in such a fast-paced lifestyle. We're used to delivering things on Deliveroo, Amazon. Da, da, da. I feel like as human beings, because we are keeping up with this modern world and how technology is advancing so much, that sometimes we have to catch ourselves. That's why it's
Well,
so important.
you know what, Ashley, and not to cut you off, and I do apologize. I don't want to
Oh,
cut you
no,
off,
no, 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 no. Oh,
but
no,
but
you
here's
can
what I'm
go.
gonna
You
say.
can go.
I got you on that Stockholm syndrome. I learned about that back in the day. And here's the thing: it's one thing to have Stockholm syndrome and you hold your person in admiration, this, that, and two-thirds loyalty, all that towards your, the person that is victimizing you in whatever fashion, be
Yes.
it in the bank
Yes.
or in a grocery store, 7-Eleven, don't matter. In this
Yes.
particular
Yes.
case, with the victims for victim witnesses with this R. Kelly thing, these are individuals who were trying to cut deals and make deals on their own. As long as they were taken care of, like the last two that were in the Trump Tower with Kels, they were getting paid $5,000 a month. They were getting shopping sprees. They were doing all that. So Stockholm syndrome, maybe just a little bit, but then when you take a look at Lisa Van Allen,
That they
who
Stockholm
who
with them. No, they're
I know,
not
no,
getting Stockholm
I'm just
syndrome.
at
No,
all.
no, they're
No,
not getting Stockholm syndrome. They're not getting
absolutely.
Stockholm syndrome because I don't give a good goddamn. Everything that those women said that happened inside of those homes, if you were not underage, oh well.
Thank you.
You
That's
chose to be there. Y'all chose to shop. Y'all
yes.
chose to
That's what I
eat.
You
said.
Y'all
lied
That's
chose
what
about
I
to
your
eat in
said.
age. You did
stores.
all that. And
Y'all chose to do all of that stuff. So if he likes that somebody pees on the floor, pee on the floor. If he
mm,
likes that somebody want to be in a cage, get in a cage.
well,
Like it is what it is. If he
mm,
says
See,
sit in the room for 2 days, sit in the room for two. That's
right.
you. You're the
Especially when
goofy.
you had the opportunity to
you
escape.
know
That's
what?
what I'm saying.
Like you
There
can
is
leave when you want to. Like he
right.
ain't
There
grabbing
is
y'all back in there by y'all hair and stuff. Like no, he is not.
right. And
When
on top of that,
y'all go home, y'all come back because y'all
right.
get the lifestyle.
Exactly.
So yeah,
And the
all of that
attempts
stuff can get thrown out.
and the
All
attempts
LaShawn,
to
see how you just
extort
said
R.
that?
Kelly though, but
Y'all
and
go
the attempts to
home and
extort
y'all
him
come
as
back.
well. And
Let me
the
let me let me let me let me
yeah,
elaborate
go
on
ahead, my
that
bad.
right there. You go home and you come back. that meant you had the opportunity to leave and go on about your business if it had
Absolutely.
gotten so bad to the point
Absolutely.
where you could not take it. But now you sitting up here acting like you a victim when you're not a victim because you allowed the situation to continue by
I agree.
going back.
I
And
love
you extorted
Asriel
them.
Clary. Asriel Clary and I,
Sean,
we are cool. We have spoke before, but like, girl, you chose to go through a lot of those things. If you was over there eating poop and all of that, oh well. Like, girl, don't
That you
put all this shit
gotta
in
leave
me.
a
Sean,
page.
Sean,
Like,
can I say something real
Sean,
quick?
yeah, go ahead.
Sean, can I?
You
She can
know
go
what I
first.
was
She can go
wondering
first.
though? Do you think those girls was thinking like, this is how it is, being in the celebrity lifestyle? So thinking that it was okay
No, not at
because,
all. Because there's
like,
plenty
it's
of
natural.
celebrities that do nothing like that. Do nothing of
No,
the
because
sort.
when they lived at home with their parents, was they
That do
eating dookie? Was
nothing
they
like
getting peed on? They
Thank you.
wasn't eating
Was they
dookie
getting
and getting
was they
peed on
getting
when they
Birkin
lived at home with
bags?
their parents.
They don't do none of that. They just bang, bang, bang and sing on your way.
Well,
Most of them, like they don't do none of that. So, and most of them don't live with those celebrities neither. Now, the ones
right.
that live with them, I mean, y'all live with him. Y'all, I mean, he's literally taking care of y'all like dogs. Like he literally taking care of y'all. Y'all going shopping, y'all eating, y'all this, y'all that.
Taking
That's
flights.
what I'm talking about. The ones that was living with him.
Yeah, I don't want to hear none of that. Like that's why I said when it comes to that, I care about what happened to the people that were underage. It is what it is, whatever. But other than
Sean,
that, anybody grown, oh well.
And the attempts to
Sean.
extort R. Kelly as well. That is what also negates that Stockholm syndrome. You actually formulated a plan and teamed up with others to try to run a game. Not everything they did. You didn't team up and say, "Okay, we're free. Let's go to the police." You teamed up and cut up some tapes. You altered some tapes. You did all kind of different stuff with some tapes, and then turned around and tried to extort money out of Kels. You didn't even call 911. You didn't call the police. So it ain't no Stockholm syndrome in that respect. And it's
No,
also
no, it ain't.
not any victimization in that regard because when you could have gone for help, you chose not to.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
Ashley, you wanted to say something,
I
Ashley?
agree.
Yeah, I have 2 points and I hope I can remember them because I've been drinking some red wine. So So I just want to say one point is Sean, I want to pick back on the point you were mentioning earlier on, and I completely get your frustration and everything because it's like other people knew what he was doing and they were gaining from that too, you know? And I just feel like this goes way bigger than what we think it is because obviously there was people in the police, the FDA, CIA, who obviously knew of. I just feel like there may have been some cops or whatever, like who
Oh,
may have
absolutely. The
chosen to
judge
sweep this underneath the
retired the
ground.
next year after the case.
Mm-hmm.
He was very upset when anything that didn't result in the case, like even when Aaliyah's name was brought up and whatnot, he would get very upset, even threaten mistrials. And when he had a motive, he absolutely did,
Yep.
absolutely. So yeah, there was all type of things that happened in the case that
There's
should
a
not
lot of palms
And that's
read.
why, I feel like we shouldn't. Yes, I get, you know, questioning the victims, like, why didn't you say something when you could have said something at any point because there was hundreds and thousands of victims, what it's looking like. But it's
not
like,
hundreds and thousands of
what
victims with the R. Kelly case. Is that what you're saying? Hundreds and thousands of victims of R. Kelly case. See, that's what's getting
well
me, ratchet right now, Ashley. Because come on, let's keep it a whole hundred up. Come on now,
okay,
hundreds and thousands of victims, Ashley. Girl, come on,
can I say
please,
something? Can
baby.
I say something? Can I
Let's
say
Damn.
freeze.
something? Can I say something? Can I say
Go
something?
ahead, girl.
I may have been emphasizing on the number, but it seems like
Yeah,
it, because it's like every single time when I look on the news, R. Kelly, I feel like there's
same
more and
people
more
though.
victims, coming out and talking about it, and it feels like
there
it's
are a lot of
more
people.
than
There are not hundreds of thousands, but there
Yeah,
are a
right.
lot.
no, yeah, not hundreds of thousands, but you know what I'm saying. Like it just
Yeah.
seems like it's just so many women are coming
Just
out, and it's just
30
getting out of
years.
hand.
30 years, and the Illinois state prosecutor did a damn call out, like, all right, hey you, hey you, hey you, hey you, were you sexually this and that? Was this happening? Did R. Kelly? Hey, come on down, come on down, come on down.
Yeah,
And out of all of that,
yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
out
but
of all of
let
that,
me
You're
say this.
right.
And
out of
but
all of
when that
that, you
call
only had
out
a
happened,
handful.
now let me say this. When that call out happened, you got a lot of victims who did not come forward too. What about those people that was some of the girls, the young girls after the concert that he actually got with and never went back around him?
But see, some of them might have been under the impression that fair exchange ain't no damn robbery. Because let's bear in mind, like I said, that's the picture we don't seem to be making clear here. We keep saying, oh, he was abducting and kidnapping. Like Kels was riding in the hood, snatching young girls up, throwing them in the trunk, never to be seen again. That's not the case. We have young ladies where Sean read about it yesterday, lied about their age, knew that Kels was in trial and in court on trial, and still somehow became a victim after that. We had women that were pursuing Kels. Let's call it like it is, y'all, because we sitting up here trying to butter it up and put some icing on it, and then you got a young girl thinking, "Oh, I can do what Jerronda Pace did. That's what they told me, and I'll be a victim. Oh, I can go up there to the apartment full of men and kick it with Kels, and if he don't have a condom, I'll make sure that I bring some Trojans up in this piece. Let's make it plain so we can avoid this victimization. Let's make it clear.
Yeah, because he got the
Thousands,
girl from
hundreds of
Baltimore,
thousands.
the girl down here from where I live at, from Baltimore, and she wanted to get backstage with him, and he seen. I guess they seen how she seemed a little promiscuous, so he contacted her. Or had one of his people contact her, and they met up in a hotel. So she knew, and she was underage.
You know what you came for. That's how you got down. And even with Elizabeth
Hmm.
Allen, when you look at her history, which she tells it herself, but when you look at her history, she came to the Kells circle already hip to the damn threesomes, already, doing what she was doing.
Hmm.
All she needed was an opportunity for the king of R&B, R. Kelly. So let's call it what it is. And then let's go ahead and address her victimization and what put her in that predicament to begin with. If healing is really what we're talking about, if we're really talking about therapy and helping Black women, but this all of a sudden just throw it all on Kels because Kels was in here doing some freaky dicky whatever. Well, let's just blame him. It looks good. It all fits. It doesn't, because some of these people were willing participants, and it wasn't until the money ran out that they decided, oh shit, we got to hold him accountable. Come on now, let's
Yeah.
keep it on.
Yeah, but I still say there are some victims who were true victims, especially 14 years old. You don't have the idea or the capacity to know better
True.
than to lay down with a man that
I
age.
agree.
But he,
I
as a
agree.
man, should have the idea and capacity to not lay down with a 14, a
Very much
15,
so.
even a 16-year-old,
You're right.
period. So
You're right.
that right there, that is a true victim. Because you may say hot, she hot in the pants, she this, she that, and the other. But I guarantee you, at 14 years old, at that day and time, to get a phone call from somebody that said they was finna take you somewhere to meet R. Kelly, you were jumping in that car, you were jumping on that plane, you were getting there, and you were in that room. And sometimes you did not expect. You think you meeting him for one thing, and he meeting you for what he wants.
I
Period.
would be
Point blank.
scared.
And
I
that
would be
that
scared.
is a
Oh,
true
I,
victim right there.
I would
And
be
one thing I
scared.
wanted to say
not
is
exoneration.
we've had some of these monstrous women come forward about R. Kelly who, yeah, were not victims, or who were just enablers, or who were just people who were looking for an extra dollar or a dime. But what about those young girls who never mentioned to their parents that they had ever been in a room, hotel, a studio, or anything with him, and something sexual happened between him and
Right.
them?
And you know what,
Everybody
Candy?
is not gonna come forward.
And
Everybody's not
Candy?
gonna be willing to say, yes, he touched me. Yes, he
And
did
you
this.
know what,
Yes,
Candy?
he did that to me.
That is such a good point, and that is an area that we need to dig into deeper so we can find a bridge somewhere so that real victims, not just, well, this is a Kales victim, victims, period, where we can create an environment for them to step up, whether it's a white man, a Hispanic man, a Hispanic girl, whatever the race. We gotta, that's the part we need to be focusing on, because as long as we're making the girls who are front and center in this saga, as long as we're making them the quote unquote face of the victims, then these girls who don't have the courage, the girls who didn't take tapes and cut them up or try to extort money out of Kells and do all those things, you know, we're looking over and we're missing the girls who are in fear, the girls who didn't know what to do, the girls who have not come forward because they're afraid. That's the part. That's where we got to get into. So let's
Like, it
make
was one, I'm gonna tell you, it was one girl who said that, yeah, she met R. Kelly. She spent time around him. He was always gentle, always kind with her. And then one day, all of a sudden, he turned on her, and he literally took her virginity.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember
Is
that.
this the girl who they called her the
allegedly,
cable
hold
girl?
on, hold on. Let me say this. Allegedly, he gave her STD. So, like I
Yeah.
said, and she was underage at the time, and she did sue, but it was not just the idea of her suing for money. She was going after him criminally. Okay. So we have to know that there are other victims in this thing that did not want a dollar for him, did not want a dime from him, just wanted to be around him, liked him. They were a fan. They were a fan, and they felt like, okay, he is all right. He always seemed cool. He always seemed great, but he seemed cool and great around other people. But when it came down to him being alone with that person, that particular child or that particular young lady, he showed his true color. So
Mm-hmm.
our is a monster. He is a monster. Any person that looks at a 14-year-old person or a 15-year-old or a 16-year-old child is a monster. I don't even think that. Okay, I'm a little distinguished in my age, but I will say this: I don't look at a 21-year-old because you ain't on no level as me. Okay. I don't care if you're legal or not. I don't care if the law says that legally I can deal with you. I won't deal with you because in my mind, you still a child. He couldn't
That's
even look
right.
and distinguish between a child and a grown woman. He had no distinction between the two.
I
That's
think
what
he
makes
did.
him the monster that he
I think
is.
this is what he just preferred. But if the one person you're talking about, I think her name was Hawkins or somebody, because she was a runaway. She was, her family, and again, her home life was jacked up. She kept getting into it with her mother, and then she would be on the streets, and she was homeless. And she claims she was friends with Kels for at least 6 months before they even started doing some level of boot knocking. But again, it's those situations when we talk about protect Black women. Those are the things we need to fix so that a true victim can receive help. And then we can make
Mm-hmm.
a clear differentiation between a willing person who this is what they come out of, and it's all right with them. The parents don't mind, and they should mind. But out of that household, the parents don't mind. They're over there getting it in with a grown ass man. We gotta make it clear. I'm gonna get down, Sean, because I got the grandbabies running around. Thank you for having me, and it was a pleasure speaking to all of y'all. Appreciate y'all. It was a great conversation, and I'll just talk to all y'all later.
Nice meeting you, Miss Cruz.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you too,
Nice
honey.
meeting you.
See.
So no, what I do want to say about what one of the things that touch on what Mel just said, because we are about to get out because I have to go on station head. But I will say this: no victim to me is going to be held as they're not a victim. I mean, you absolutely are. I mean, it is what it is when it comes to the situation. So I'm not gonna bash like literally or come for them or anything like that because I don't feel like it's necessary. But I will say this: when people are protecting people, everybody needs to be protected. This is a situation when it comes to Robert of people not protecting other Black people. It's because somebody Black is involved. So that gets to the point where everybody's being turned against each other. We need to make it more, instead of saying how we're going to protect our Black women is by having these conversations with your children and your teenagers. If you are having these conversations, they're going to be more open into telling you something when something is going down. And another thing with Black women, I feel like y'all need to stop excusing it. And what you don't realize when you're excusing it is, and what one thing I hate about like the R. Kelly sector, or not sector, when people are speaking on him and people comment or come up on panels and say something, they'll say, "Oh, when I was this age, I was 15 or so, but I went after the older boys, or the older boys went after us, stuff like that, and it wasn't a problem, wasn't frowned upon." It should have been.
Exactly.
That's not the point. Like, stop. You excuse it when you say things like that. Oh, it makes sense. That these young girls will be with him because when we were younger, when we were coming up, stop saying that. Because you're literally giving your kids and stuff a pass, because now you're putting it in their mind. Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
when you were younger, if you were messing with older people, it shouldn't be a problem if I do it. You did it. Why I can't do it? Don't even put that in their mind. So like, stop saying that. It drives me up a wall. It's like, it does not matter in a certain time. It wasn't frowned upon, or it was more accepted. It isn't. It shouldn't be. And for reasons like this, with R. Kelly, It's why it should be frowned upon. It's why things like this shouldn't be going on. It's why people should have been side-eyeing him if he's sitting outside of a high school in
High
his
school.
40s.
Yes, Sean. Speak, Sean.
Like
Speak.
that should have been red flag. He should have said, like, why is he here?
Yep.
Like you don't go here. Like you 30. Like, why are you here? He pulling up after school, all of that, everybody running up to his car, all of that. Weird. Like, I mean, if you just stopping by to send some love, want to look out for the community real quick and be on your way, cool. But every other day you out here, when you just out here on Wednesday, it ain't number Friday. You were just here, hanging out at McDonald's, hanging out with the high school kids that hang out at the McDonald's. After all of that is weird. Like, all of these are red flags. All of these are signs that this man mentally feels like he's this age and he's not. But instead of the people coming around him helping him, they fed it. Hollywood loves to find out what you are addicted to because they will set it in front of you. They will keep you fed. If you like liquor, they're going to keep liquor around you. If you like a certain, they're going to keep that around you. If you like white green, they're going to keep that around you. If you like food, they're going to keep that around you. They're going to keep everything you like around you to keep you ground. Like, that's what they do. Oh, he like younger girls? Okay, not a problem. It's not an issue. This is what they do. They're going to
And
keep.
Can I
especially
ask
him
a
being the
question, Sean? Because
moneymaker.
I got a quick question.
Go ahead.
I heard them keep saying something about him getting counseling. He never got counseling in all the years of this going on.
Well, I remember that was the one point he sat down with his brothers and whatnot, and they, brother, I think it was Carrie, they had sat down and they got him to talk to somebody. So he was in the process, even to where he admitted it in so many words about what he felt. Even in his book, he discussed it, basically letting us know that he has a problem, type of situation. But he didn't finish it. I think he had maybe like 1 or 2 sessions and he gave up. Because some things you're just not ready to deal with. Some things you're not ready to come to terms with. If he's been saying in his mind his whole life thinking that the things that happened to him were okay because he's found some type of way to cope with them, somebody coming back in front of you and telling you that these things aren't okay and you shouldn't be coping with it this way, you should actually be dealing with it, that's hard. And then the pain and the loss of his mother. R. Kelly's never liked hospitals. I'm the type of person, so I don't like hospitals. But if I have to go, like if there's something truly going on with someone, I'm going to go. Like, that's exactly what I'm going to do because you're needed. But he was the type of person that didn't. So when his kids was born, he wasn't there at any of his kids' births. None of them. Like, he came after they were born. When his mother passed away, he wasn't there. Like, he wasn't. He was at the funeral. But he was not there. He has such a torn relationship with her. It was such a distort because this is the same person. Because he admired her. He loved her singing voice. She's basically one of the reasons he wanted to sing. He loved her voice and whatnot. So I feel like that helped him inspire him musically, and whatnot. So he had a lot of love for her, but just in the wrong way. When him sitting there saying, I would use a part of the coffee cup to where her lipstick was on, just so I could basically taste her, type of situation. In his mind, what his sister especially was taking him through, there is no separation from him feeling like he could be. And then he's a child that's being abused, so he's already very hypersexual. So he's not looking at it from an aspect of, when some people are going through certain type of, essay, they kind of are, introverts and close in. To him, like, he invited it. He liked it, which is unfortunate because to him, to a lot of men especially, anything that feels good is an abuse. So if a dude is 14, 15 and has sex with a girl that's in her 30s, 20s, 40s, or something like that, nothing bad happened. That they don't look at that as abuse, or anything. They look at that as I bagged a female. Like that's just how they look at it. They look at it as an accomplishment instead of this probably is doing something to me, like mentally. Like they don't look at it that way. They don't. A lot of them look at it like, oh, I just got me some, versus to this person just abused me, like took advantage of me, took my like consent technically like away from me, type of situation. They don't look at it that way. They look at it as, You know, I got some. But then to a girl, when it comes to a girl, society especially wants to look at her like, oh, well, if she was this age, then he has to be this and he has to be that. That's just the dynamic. But with women, it's not like that. You know, they're looked at as
Basically,
heroes instead of the villains.
and him being a victim as a small child made him re-victimize other small children.
I don't feel that at all. I think that it became more so of like a preference. I don't think that he was looking at it as a, I'm abusing people. I think he was looking at it as a, this is my girlfriend. That's why I feel like he has so many of them. I don't think that he looked at it. I feel like he still doesn't look at it that way. He doesn't look at it that way. Those was his girlfriends. That he feels like he could be with them, and mentally, he does not have the mental capability to be with an adult woman. He does not. That's why he dates younger. That he has to. He has the mentality of a little boy, like a little teenage boy. You know, so with most adult women, they about they ish. They're not about to just be treated any type of way. You're not about to be running all over me, about to be all this is my house, you know, this is our bills. Why are you doing this for this person? When we, you know. So I just feel like him dating a grown woman, no. That's no. Mentally, he can't handle a grown woman. He has to be with somebody younger. So that's when the Azraels and the Joselyns and all of them come into play because they're young and dumb. You know, so I'm not like literally calling them dumb, but I'm just saying like they like finer things like, you know, designer stuff and, you know, the type of stuff younger people are thinking about. You know, somebody's R. Kelly's age in the 50s, you know, late 40s when he was, you know, well, 50s still, he was like, what, 52? Mm-hmm. But then, you know, he dating somebody his age, because a 40-year-old woman, a 30-year-old woman, or a 50-year-old woman don't have time for none of that. They don't have time for none of that. They're not about to just go through just anything when they have so much experience. So it's just like, boy, I'm all you think I'm really about to sit around here with these little bitty, these young girls hooping and hollering and fighting over you? I ain't nobody about to. Now this was cute. Thank you for bringing me to this concert. Now so this was cute, but I'm going home. You know, like yeah, don't nobody got time for this. But the ones that have the mentality, the stealer, go getter, get it while it's hot, microwavable, quick type of personality, those type of women in their 30s and 40s and 50s, they have time for R. Kelly. They have time for the games and the antics and they have time for all of that. But an older woman, they ain't got time. A real old woman, one on the ish, they don't have time for that. But the younger ones do. So a younger girl may sit in the room for 2-3 days and not eat until he come back from wherever he was at. They might do that. They just might. But an older woman, no. Like most of them. And so the ones that do, like the Asante McGee's and all of them, I don't feel sorry for none of them.
Yes,
to me, they are not victims. I don't view you a victim. Somebody like Reshona, who was very young and truly had no choice in the matter. You got all of these people, even her own family around her, pushing her, you know, in front of him just so that they can all eat. No. No, you are grown, coherent. So if you chose to be in that house as an adult and piss on the floor, eat poop, sit in a room for 3-4 days without no food, he was in there bopping you all on your head and all of that, making you drink. Oh well.
Yeah, that's like the one older woman talking about
Yeah.
she wasn't eating and she called her friend girl so her friend girl could send her a pizza and all this and all of that. And it's like, girl, you didn't have sense enough to get up and walk out the door and leave.
In her 30s. That was that DJ girl, I believe, the one that was
Yep,
the DJ,
she was
whatever
the
her.
DJ
Yeah, girl, in your
on a
30s?
radio station. She had a good job and everything, left a good
Left
job
all
and
of that.
went there to go be with
That's
our
R. Kelly fault, though. No, it's not. That's you stupid. You
That's
walked
her
off your job to go live this dream on tour with him and knowing that he got a whole bus full of women. That's on you. That ain't no trauma. That ain't none of that. Okay, you have to drink some peace. So why you swallow it?
Because for me, as soon as I ain't had no food to eat for a day or two,
right, I'm gone.
Today, I'm going home. I got to go home because I got to eat. I'm sorry.
No. At the 4-5 hour, I need me something to eat. So
oh, he made me pee in the bucket in the corner. What? Pee in the bucket in the corner? Man, ain't no way.
And then them be the same ones in Louis Vuitton about to pass out because they ain't ate but picking purses and picking outfits.
And that's what she said. She said he had a bunch of her things and she wanted to get her things. So she met him. And when she met him, and he got her in the backseat of the car and he beat the piss out of her and everything, and she didn't get her stuff. She was more concerned about getting her stuff than she was about even going on with her life and not getting beat and not being taken back to the same
That's
situation.
all it was
Like, are you
about.
stupid?
They didn't care that they became victims. That's why I said they diluted the real people, the real ones that have something going on with them.
Yeah,
The real people that have actually went through things because of him. Not no hoes that's mad because they sat over there eating poop and drinking pee and not eating and but had on some Giuseppe's. You know, no, we ain't talking about y'all. Y'all sat over there and wanted to be tied up and sitting in the corner, slapping and punching and pinching each other. Now, that was y'all. That was dumb. Very so much grown. Very so much can leave at any time. But y'all clout chased. That's why he's feeding y'all every other day because he didn't have enough money to feed all y'all at once. So he's like, okay, this one eat on Thursday, that one eat on Saturday, this one eat, because he had to take care of all y'all. So, and y'all sat there and dealt with it like the idiots. Y'all were the clout chasers, the gold diggers. Y'all were.
Yep, that's what it was.
So
The gold digger.
Popping y'all on y'all head and having y'all flip each other over and throw each other in bushes and all of that. Oh well, because y'all.
But you know what? As we can see through this, Sean, as you can see through it, and I can see through it too. Hopefully, when it all comes said and done, that the judge can see through it, because some of them people is not.
No, they gonna throw all of that. The judge don't care nothing about Santi steal your insurance policy, McGee. She done stole from when they had the hurricane and all of that. She done lied. She is a crook. she a fella with weave. Like no, so she is evil. All of them. Asante McGee, she's sitting in that house, 47 years old, talking about something. I couldn't leave. Every time I tried to, what you mean every time you try to? If you was bringing your daughter home money, every time you come in, you walking past them Prada, all of that, this is the glass, all the suitcase, Louis, all of that, the pocket full of money, all of that, girl, please. Like, girl, shut up.
Yep.
Girl, you just mad that he took it all back.
That's right.
He sent y'all at home.
And
the Fade of Glory Walmart outfits y'all came in.
And I promise to say that that's probably how all of this came about in the first place. As soon as he started saying no to giving them money, then that's when it's like, oh, he did this to me, he did that to me. Oh, he made me do this, he made me do that. But really, all the time, you was right there willing to do it as long as them paychecks and the money was rolling in and them purses was coming in, them shoes was on your feet, laying up, lamping up, and ready to go.
Big dot.
Well,
I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Shout out to Ashley. Shout out to Candy. I really appreciate you, ladies. We will do another open panel. We'll be live again tomorrow. I have to get out of here because I have to get ready for Station Head. But I love you. Thank y'all so much for coming up.
We love you too, Sean. We love you too.
Make sure y'all
Love you, Sean. Thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you, everybody that came up. Everyone, I can remember all y'all was a lot, but I love all of y'all. And until the next show, I love you guys. I'm bye.
Fresh,